Park at Camden Yards. It is the finale of Interleague Baseball, the final game of the three-game series in the Battle of the Beltways, as the Orioles once again welcome in the Washington Nationals. And hi, everybody. Jim Hunter with Jim Palmer, Bob Carpenter, Rob Dibble coming up. And Jim, the Orioles today looking for a three-game sweep. And as the team continues to build, trying to get more and more consistently competitive, what's encouraging in the two wins, two different styles of games, and still two victories.
Yeah, and two closely contested ball games. The game on Friday night, they get 16 hits. They win 11-1, but they get 8 runs in the 6th inning. Close, obviously, till that point last night. They're down early, 3-1. They get the big 3-run home run. They hit 2 more home runs. So no home runs on Friday. A lot of home runs last night. And today, I don't know how many home runs you can hit off John Lannon, because he's been very, very special for the Nationals.
Nationals go back into NL East competition following the game. And for the finale today, a lineup adjustment. More on that, Bob and Rob.
Thank you, Jim. And, of course, it's on to Florida for the Nationals. The Orioles know all about playing down there. Ryan Zimmerman bats cleanup for the first time since October 1st of 2006.
Well, and I think it's a nice switch. You got Willie Harris and Christian Guzman at the top. Now you got Nick Johnson in the 3-hole. You move Ryan Zimmerman down a notch, and then Adam Dunn, and you go a little bit tougher down the bottom of the order. But anything to get Ryan Zimmerman going. If you can get Ryan Zimmerman going, then maybe Adam Dunn gets going. And that's the middle of our lineup has been really hurting us lately. We got to start scoring more than 3 runs a ball game. We got to get to that 5 and 6. When your team ERA is 5, you can't be scoring three runs a game.
And as Jim mentioned a moment ago, no doubt who is the ace of this staff. It's John Lannon.
It's John Lannon. He's got a big heart. He doesn't have the best stuff maybe on the staff, but he is going to attack the strike zone. He's going to come right after this Orioles lineup, and that's exactly what you have to do. You can't let him get extension. You can't let him get comfortable in there. So hopefully John Lannon will do better than the first 2 games.
For a change, John Lannon is older than his opposing starter in terms of major league experience. The young Nats, the young Orioles battling today at Camden Yards.
Book your next trip at southwest.com and by Acura. Acura Advance. Hazy day at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, but a lovely day for baseball as the Birds and Nats conclude the Interleague Series, as the Orioles playing very well in the first 2 games, looking to complete a 3-game sweep. Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Nationals today. Willie Harris once again leading off in center field, and Christian Guzman back at shortstop. Guzman, one of the hot hitters in the Nationals lineup, brings a 10-game hitting streak into today's game. Nick Johnson bats third, Zimmerman in the cleanup spot. Adam Dunn will DH, Josh Willingham in left, Elijah Dukes, Anderson Hernandez, and Will Nieves.
Take a look at our PNC scouting report on David Hernandez out of California. Big guy, 6'3", well over 200 pounds. He's got big league stuff. He can throw, I don't know, 92 to 95. They call his fastball the invisible heater because it just seems that hitters don't usually pick it up. Stay out of the middle of the plate. That's when he gets in trouble. Fastball command has to be in and out, and then really back to the future because he's one of the future stars of this Orioles staff. He's dominated at the minor league level, strikeout guy. And again, another opportunity because Koji Uehara, as for the second time this year, has gone back on the disabled list.
David Hernandez has what has been described to me, Jim, as a swing and a miss fastball. Tell me about that.
Well, Dave Schmidt talked to me in spring training about it, and that's the minor league roving instructor. He said it's deception. Scotty McGregor had it. Now Hernandez throws a lot harder. But again, it's just the ability, at least in most cases, to get guys to not pick up the ball for whatever the reason is.
There's strike one to Willie Harris, and we are underway at Oriole Park. The crew chief, Jim Joyce, has the plate today, and you will hear him all day long as he not only calls it with his hand, you will hear him bellow whether it's a strike. Next pitch is off the plate and 1-1. Willie Harris again starting in center field and batting leadoff. One thing Willie brings to this team is a lot of speed. He's hitting 6 of his last 8. Check swing, and he went too far. Foul tip, actually, 1-2.
He brings the versatility of a Ty Wigginton, where he can play infield, he can play outfield. He is a switch hitter, so he can do a little bit about everything. And that's Willie Harris. Excuse me, he's total left-handed, but he'll play any position on the field.
Young man of Cairo, Georgia, which also produced a Hall of Famer,
Jackie Robinson.
His number retired in every major league city by every franchise by the commissioner. A ball and 2 strikes on Willie Harris. Hernandez, 24 years old. This is outside 2-2. He is out of Sacramento, California, and a 16th round pick in 2005.
Well, I like the fact we have 3 contact guys right at the top of the order. You got Willie, then Christian, then you got Johnson. You can all put the ball in play.
Fouls it back.
Yeah, and Willie's, even though he's hit a couple of home runs over the last couple of weeks, we saw it last night where he took a 1-2 pitch off of Jeremy Guthrie, who looked like early on, at least the first 2 batters had pretty good stuff, but took a nice curveball, slapped it into right field. Guzman singled, and then Jeremy Guthrie lost the strike zone, walked in a couple of runs.
Breaking balls outside, so Willie Harris has worked the count full to 3-2.
See, I always felt that when you get a guy like Harris who can steal bases 6 out of 7, you really have to play him away and pitch him that way. And it's all right to throw breaking balls when you're 0-2, 1-2, but
hard hit ball right to Huff, and the short hop, he'll go to the bag unassisted. That ball was plastered right at Aubrey Huff, and he was able to get it in the heel of the glove, 1 away.
Well, take a look at the Oriole defense. You've already seen the infield. It's Huff, Wigginton taking the place for Roberts and Dino, who's played really a Gold Glove shortstop. Salazar takes more of the place. Outfield, Reimold, Jones, and Markakis. Very, very good outfield for the Orioles, not your normal infield. Thing about the Orioles defense last night, they win 6-3, but they did turn 4 double plays. You will not have the same guys out there that were able to do that for you last night. And there's a changeup. He's got a pretty good breaking ball. I asked Greg Zahn, who caught him in his 2 major league starts, talking about David Hernandez. He said fastball, good velocity, as you said, Jim, very deceptive sometimes. It's straight, so that's why he has to stay out of the middle of the plate. But he's got a good breaking ball, and he threw his changeup a lot in his 2 starts.
Line drive, that is slicing foul down the left field line.
Well, it's funny to hear you say you turned 4 double plays, and from my perspective, the Nationals hit into 4 double plays. So it's that's why I love doing this battle of the beltways and combining forces, because you're seeing a different perspective with your ball club. I'm seeing a different one from mine, and things that we need to do to better ourselves and turn the corner here and go in a different direction.
Yeah, what did they say? Manny Acta said we could have scored 8 or 9 runs last night. Yeah, I think the real bad approach was probably Belliard's. Not maybe the double play early on with the bases loaded. It certainly hurt him in the first inning. That was a 3-2 pitch, but the 2-0 pitch that if he hit to the right side, they definitely would have gotten the tying run in.
Line to left. Reimold is there. He was playing shallow, has it for the out, and 2 men down. So David Hernandez and Nolan Reimold, 2 players each drafted in 2005, now with the big league club, combining on that play, and 2 men out.
I once did a playoff game in Cincinnati. Of course, you pitched there for a number of years, where Tom Glavine, who's on his way to the Hall of Fame with over 300 wins, threw 6 double play balls in a 1-0 victory. And you know how he did it. He kept the ball in the middle plate, turned it over, added a little bit, subtracted.
Well, and that's the thing we've been talking about is not falling into this frame of mind where you're lulled by the pitcher into hitting his pitch, and that's what Greg Maddux will be going to the Hall of Fame because of. Tom Glavine will be going to the Hall of Fame. They get ahead and then they throw off-speed stuff down and away. You try to pull it, you hit it on the ground, and in certain situations, you and I both talked about this. Instead of trying to strike out two guys, you throw one pitch, you get a double play, you get out of the inning quicker.
2-0 on Nick Johnson batting third. And there's a called strike. Well, the pitcher who has really had a positive overall effect on this pitching staff is Brad Bergeson, because Brad Bergeson is exactly the pitcher you just described. 2 pitches, hit a ground ball to short. Next guy. He attacks the strike zone, he gets ahead, and he does not care in the least about strikeouts. And I think it's had a positive effect on the entire staff. Fly ball to Jones, and the Nats go 3 up, 3 down. David Hernandez off to a good start. Hey, the youngsters here. Here come the Birds. Against the Nats, Southwest Airlines starting lineup for the Orioles. Birds come in having won the first 2 games in the series. Adam Jones in the leadoff spot with Brian Roberts off, and Ty Wigginton batting second. Look at these numbers, 13 for his last 26 over the past 7-game hitting streak. Markakis up in Reimold with Scott DHing. Salazar gets a start at third, Wieters, and Andino for the Birds.
Let's give you the PNC scouting report on John Lannon. John Lannon has beaten both the Mets and the Yankees in his last 4 starts. Do not hang that changeup to this team. They will hit it out of the ballpark, tie up the middle of the lineup, jam them in if you can, and make them move their feet. Last night they were way too comfortable. The night before even more, and not doing a great job of getting these guys uncomfortable in the box.
Well, this pitching matchup today is a testament to good scouting and a testament to 2 players who got a chance and then took advantage of it. John Lannon is an 11th round draft pick in 2005 out of Siena College in New York. His mound opponent today, a 16th round pick by the Orioles in 2005, David Hernandez. So an 11th rounder and a 16th rounder squaring off in a big league game.
And more importantly, in his last 4 starts, the ball club, the Nationals, who don't have a lot of wins this season, have won 3 of those last 4 starts. That's his job, get a win for the team or put them in a situation where they have a chance to win.
At 93, that was the first fastball. That's probably a little bit higher than I've seen.
Yeah, that's a little bit abnormal for him. He's going to be 89 to 92, maybe 91.
Change up is high, ball 3.
So what he's always done against the Orioles is just command the ball very well. And he's been able to make the right-handed hitters have to cover the outside corner with that change up. And then, when you establish there, as many great lefties have, they'd be able to get the ball in on them.
Yeah, the leadoff walk, not a good idea. John Lannon usually does not walk that many.
No, he does not walk a lot of guys. And look at his April, May, and June. 0-3 in April, 4.6. May, ERA coming down, not getting a lot of run support. But look at the innings pitched go up in June. Over 7 innings to start now. That's your job one as a major league starter. Get into the 7th or 8th inning and be the bridge to the bullpen. And he's 2-0. And here's the last pitch right here. He may be flying open a little bit right now or overthrown, because when you're not winning a lot of ball games, and he's the ace of the staff, he's got over 50 career starts. Nobody's even close to that behind him, and he's still only 25 years old. Maybe he's a little bit pumped up today to try to, be the closer or stopper and stop this losing streak.
Yeah, he is a veteran. The rookies have started 19 in the last 23 games for the Nationals.
Wigginton off the end of the bat, right field. Dukes will move in on the ball. And he has it for the out, 1 down. Jones back to first base.
Here's your defense. Willie Harris again in center. Elijah Dukes a lot more speed in right field today, and Josh Willingham getting the start in left field. Your DH is Adam Dunn. Hernandez is over there at second now. Nick Johnson back at first base. Better defensively over there than Dunn. Guzman at short. A lot of speed out there. Zimmerman, your very good third baseman over there, and Nieves getting the start today. John Lannon, as you heard Jim say, from New York.
Born on Long Island, went to college at Siena, which is up near Albany, the state capital of New York.
We got a chance to talk to his high school baseball coach while we were up in New York, and just like he is today, he's a leader. He's got a big heart. He's going to go out there and give you everything he's got. I love watching this kid pitch. Reminds me a lot of Tom Browning. Doesn't have the best stuff, but I'll tell you, he's got the best approach.
But 88 to 93, that should get a lot of guys out if you can command your stuff. And there's the breaking ball to go with it. We all know he's got a good changeup.
Yep.
Well, looking at his numbers from last year, which was his first full season in the major leagues, he went 9-15 at an ERA of 3.91, and not seeing him all the time. The first wonder is, well, how the heck can you go 9-15 with that impressive of an ERA? As Markakis lifts it to left field, and making the catch is Willingham, and hung up there just long enough for him, and 2 men down. So Markakis is retired and 2 away, and he's not out of it yet, because here comes a red-hot hitter, Aubrey Huff.
Well, Huff's red hot, and of course, last year nobody in the American League with more extra base hits. Bamo found out last night he got you can see the numbers right there, 6 RBIs, the home run, good numbers against the Nats. Also, he's handled the lefties pretty well. That home run made it 5-3. The Orioles would add another run to eventually win 6-3 last night.
Aubrey Huff takes a strike on the curveball. Now 10 home runs on the year. Adam Jones has 12 to lead the club. Or excuse me, Luke Scott has 14. Adam Jones has 12. So Huff now in double figures.
And how they try to get him out, and we've seen them be successful when you execute your pitches, is a lot of slow stuff. But against the Yankees, he hit a couple of 3-run home runs on curveballs, one off a job of Chamberlain. So it's not like he can't hit these pitches. It's just he's such a good fastball hitter.
Well, if you're going to change speeds, you better keep it down in the zone, especially Reimold and Markakis and Huff. I mean, some of these guys, Adam Jones, they get their arms extended. They're going to hit it at any ballpark. It's location. If you're a young pitcher, just locate it down, and you can't get burned that much.
And another thing is, and we talk about it so often, is that most left-handed hitters like the ball down.
Down and
great
in.
high ball hitters, but Aubrey's a great high ball hitter, especially the fastball.
And Lannon has allowed 12 home runs over his 15 starts. And as Jim mentioned in the open, the Orioles last night found that home run stroke with 3 home runs in the game. Too tight.
The one thing that he's done better in the last 4 starts, though, he's given up 3 home runs, is they've been solos. He's not walking guys. He's not giving up the 3-run home runs, the 2-run home runs. He's just giving up solos. So you can give up 30, 35 home runs a year. Just try to make most of them solo.
2-2 to Huff. He got him. Big sweeping curveball, and Lannon gets out of it. The leadoff walk does not hurt. We'll head to the second. A lot of kids here today on Cap Day. No score. O's and Nats. worth of American Classics scratch-off tickets from the Maryland Lottery for every Oriole home run hit in the game today. And you can have a chance to win as well. Just enter by logging on to MassonSports.com. No score, one base runner through one. There's David Hernandez back with the team. Koji Uehara officially now on the disabled list, and David back. This is his third major league start and fourth appearance, and he gets ahead of Ryan Zimmerman, 0-1. It was looking fastball, and he swung through it.
Well, again, that's that well-located fastball. Not only was it 94, it was out of the middle of the plate with a little bit of giddy up on it.
David Hernandez has always been a strikeout pitcher coming up through the minor leagues. Pop foul wide of first. Huff hoping for a play, but it stays in the stands, and that's a strike for 0-2. And he had 614 strikeouts in 530 and 2/3 innings in the minor leagues.
Very impressive.
Well, he struck out 14 back on the 22nd of May. You know, when he went back, he was 0-1 with an ERA of 4.50. But on the year, 3-2 with a very low earned run average. Not a lot of run support down at AAA Norfolk. 3.30 ERA with a lot of strikeouts.
Well, the one thing I do like, 257 in the third, 18 walks. So he's throwing strikes, not just a power pitcher.
Well, you know, I watch his windup, and again, he's one of these guys that stands on the far first base side. Pretty good balance, tall guy, as we mentioned.
High fly ball, right center field, chasing Jones back, but he has a play. Adam has it for the out, one away, and for the first time today, let's welcome in Amber.
Well, Jim, the Orioles minor league catching coordinator Don Werner has been up with the club. I was talking to him about Matt Wieters, and he said overall he's been very impressed with the way Matt has handled all aspects of the game here in the major leagues. He likes the way he's handling pitchers. He also likes the way his bat's coming along. But the one area he wants to see improvement on is Matt throwing out runners on the base paths. Right now, 12 runners have attempted a steal on the Orioles while he's behind the plate. He's only thrown out one, and Don says he thinks it's because he's rushing a little bit. He said in the minor leagues it was an area that Matt was very good at, but up here he feels like the ball exchange is too quick. He's not getting a good grip on the ball, and he's noticing his footwork is off. He's stepping backwards before throwing forwards. So he wants to see those changes, but he's pretty confident that Matt will bounce back and get back to the guy that he was throwing runners out in the minor leagues. Jim?
All right, Amber, thank you very much. And that's a real good point that Amber makes, because what Wieters is going through now is, I'm in the big league, so everything comes at me, it's new. The minor league guys, even the top prospect in all of baseball, he has to feel as if he belongs, and remember, it's the same game.
Well, it is, and Earl Weaver used to always say, just go through the execution. But Don was made a very good point this morning, where he was just saying, listen, man, they came out and worked on his throwing yesterday. As Dunn, who, you know, he walks with the best of them, on base percentage close to 40% of the time, takes the walk. But what he said is, you know what, he said there's a tendency, and it's kind of like when you're getting hit as a pitcher, you stop throwing strikes. When you see a guy get a good jump and you know you have to hurry, you get out of sorts. So they want to get away from that. And again, you know, base pitchers are better. Everything is better at this level. Base runners are better. They get bigger jumps, but just go ahead, execute, make a good throw, something he's had a little bit of problem with. Got a great arm.
And I talked to Greg Zahn yesterday about Wieters, and he was telling me, he said he's most impressed by how he's handled everything else. I mean, you know, the top pick and everybody's after him and all this stuff, and he says he's doing his work. He's got a great attitude, and you know, the sky's the limit on this kid. But I mean, what has he been here? A couple of weeks?
Oh yeah.
You know, worried about how many guys he's throwing. I worry about the team's ERA before I worry about the guys stealing bases, because a lot of times you steal bases off the pitchers. You don't just steal them off the catchers. If your pitchers aren't getting the ball to home plate in under 1.2 seconds, then Wieters has no chance. Neither would Zahn.
Yes, yeah, Don was making a good point. He said, listen, if I sit there yesterday when we did the throwing with the stopwatch, he hurries, and I don't want him to hurry.
Right.
I just want him to obviously have good footwork and work on being a little bit quicker in his release, but not to do it really, I guess, on a conscious basis. I mean, you just work on it enough where it becomes natural. And again, I mean, when we talk about Matt Wieters, he's got a great arm. He threw 96 miles per hour as a closer for Georgia Tech.
And a breaking ball on the inside corner catches Willingham. 2 men down. First strikeout for David Hernandez.
What do you think? Fastball hitter, and they're able to get ahead of him. It's not your greatest curveball because it's a backdoor hook, but he gives up on it, ends up in the middle of the plate. But again, it's got good enough break, and it must fool Josh Willingham. And he's thinking maybe that ball was inside. It didn't appear to be.
Northrop Grumman bringing us pitch tracks. Northrop Grumman, the information systems powerhouse.
And you also saw where Wieters was located. He was outside, down and away. That's where the pitch was supposed to be. So the pitch that comes in the front door, a back door to a left-handed hitter, it absolutely frozen.
But I think the one thing, and you can see it already, in
that's the way he gets on top of that.
Right, and the good curveball, but Wieters is presenting a much better target. Something that maybe was a struggle a week ago, and he's conscious of it. Just so many things going on when you come to the big leagues as a catcher. It's such an important position.
And there's so many different facets of the game. You know, we're talking about learning the hitters, the opposition. You got to work, learn the pitchers at this level. You got to learn the pitchers you're hitting off of. You know, you've got 15 things going on to be a rookie catcher at the major league level now. So it's going to take some time for this kid to become a superstar.
2-1 pitches, bounce foul.
And then the expectations.
Right.
And that kind of exacerbates all the things you're going through.
And that's what I liked about what Zani said, that the kid's handling all the, ancillary stuff with all the interviews. You got more press. Everybody expects so much out of you. I mean, he's going to have to say, hey, listen, I'll do all that other stuff later. I got to concentrate on my job right now.
And Elijah Dukes can't catch the fastball. He's down on strikes. Back-to-back Ks for Hernandez to end the inning. Middle of the second and no score. And pick up some exclusive memorabilia. If you buy an Orioles rookie flex pack, you'll save on tickets to 4 upcoming games of your choice, including a prime game. Plus, for a limited time, purchase 2 seats. You'll receive an autographed photo of Nolan Reimold. And if you purchase 4 seats, you'll also get an autographed picture of Matt Wieters. For all the details, 888-848-BIRD, online, Orioles.com. And speaking of Nolan Reimold, here he is leading off in the second against John Lennon. Each team has had a base runner via a walk. Nolan Reimold against left-handed batters hitting at .349.
And I like what Will Nieves is doing right off the bat. He's pounding that glove on the dirt, saying, put this ball down low.
And there's your fastball in.
That's a pretty good pitch.
Down and away. Yeah, I think you really have to command both sides of the plate. And again, let's give Lennon some credit. He's not a soft tosser. Anytime you throw 87 to 93.
No, he's not a soft tosser. I mean, but we've got like Zimmerman, we've got Detweiler can rush it up there at 95. But what I'm saying is he's got 3 solid pitches. He can throw them all for strikes, but he's not afraid to attack any hitter. That's what I like about him.
And that's going to get a lot of hitters out. I mean, last year he had the 7th lowest run support. Right. So that 9-15 record to me doesn't mean anything.
No, absolutely not. I mean, you put that kid on the Red Sox, that kid is 15-9.
Well, it's kind of what Francona said about managing. Put it Stan Kasten and said, well, you were a dummy when you were managing Philly, and Terry Francona said, well, I'm still a dummy. I just have better players now that I'm with the Red Sox. And I think Stan probably made that up. But, why not? He was speaking at the Washington Press Club, but it's a great line.
Yep,
great line. I think a lot of managers will tell you that.
3-2 pitches, low ball 4, and there's that batting eye of Nolan Reimold. So in each of their first 2 at-bats, Lennon a leadoff walk.
I think it's very comfortable when you're a Nolan Reimold, even if you've only been in the big leagues for, less than a month, that your swing is so sound that you can wait and wait and wait, and you can hit the ball to all fields that you don't feel that you have to expand the strike zone. And you don't see that with a lot of young hitters. It's just against what I've seen over 40 years.
Well, and it doesn't hurt that there's a guy with 10 home runs in front of you with a lot of pop, a guy with 14 behind you with a lot of pop. You're going to see a lot of good pitches. You might as well be patient.
Well, the other thing the Orioles have done, and Terry Crowley has worked very hard with this group on their overall approach, is they don't strike out a lot. The Orioles have struck out fewer than any team in the American League.
That's
so the
really
moral
impressive.
of the story is, if you put the ball in play, good things will happen. So you work the count, you look for a good pitch, and you go for it. And that's one of the things that the Crow works on every day with the private sessions with the hitters inside. Scott rips it down the right field line. That's a base hit. And that's going to go all the way to the wall. Reimold heading for third as Dukes digs it out. Dukes will get it back in. And the Orioles have something going here, second and third, and nobody down.
Well, Rob, what we talk about, the fact that maybe he gets righties out better than lefties. He hangs a curveball right here. And what you say, well, the numbers are high, over 300, but they're better than they were a month ago.
Yeah, he was there. They were almost 400 off of him left-handed about a month ago, and he really was working on that, getting it down. He's got to get that curveball down and away from Luke Scott. That's up and in the zone. That's right where a lefty wants that curveball. Danger time with that guy. It's lucky it stayed in the park.
So you talked about the Nationals last night. The 4 double plays didn't hit well situationally. 2 ground balls to the right side will get you 2 runs in here. At least one.
At least one, yeah.
Unless Manny plays the infield in, depending on the fact that he doesn't feel like they've been scoring a lot of runs. But again, everybody back on the right side because they'll give you 1, but they won't give you 2 runs. So hit the ground ball to the right side. You'll advance the runner from third to home and the runner from second. So again, the situational hitter, and you can see Salazar. I mean, he was flat out airing it out down to Norfolk at 372. He knows how to hit the ball over to the right side.
Well, if you're landing in the Nationals, you have to minimize damage here. So even if you got to give up 2 runs, you'll take a few outs.
Trying to go that way with Salazar, who does hit very well the opposite way. He has 7 hits since joining the Orioles. All 7 are singles.
And to me, it's kind of, you stand behind the cage when you watch not only the Orioles, but other teams hit, and they go, okay, runner at third, less than 2 outs. Hit a ball to the right side. And, you know, guys do it in batting practice, but can you do it in the game? And the reason it's more difficult, obviously, you got John Lannon saying, hey, I'm going to throw you maybe a cutter inside or maybe a slow curveball, get you to roll over. But the good teams, they move the runners. They take advantage of situations like this against a tough left-hander.
2-1 pitch, ground ball towards the hole, base hit for Salazar. And the Orioles get on the board. Reimold scores at a 1-0 Orioles lead. So Salazar did pull it. The one infielder who was in was Zimmerman, but he hit it past him for an RBI single.
Well, give Salazar a lot of credit right here. They were trying to pitch him in because he was trying to go the other way, and so he just turned it around and said, I'll just pull it. And he pulled it through the hole. He got lucky. Normally you wouldn't want him to try to go to the left side, but if you're going to hit this hard, may as well. Gets an RBI and he moves the runner up. Here's the pitch. Supposed to be a little bit farther away. Threw that a little bit too inside, but Salazar did a good job of recognizing the rotation on it and smacked it for a hit.
Oh, it's what you're talking about, a bench player that can come up and you don't give up any offense when he plays.
Matt Wieters now runners on the corners.
And just as you were saying that stuff about situational hitting, I was thinking your next opponent are the Red Sox, and they're gonna do exactly what the Orioles are doing to the Nationals, which is when they have a chance to score second and third, no outs, they're gonna start just punching the ball.
Bouncer right to first. Johnson steps on the bag. They have Luke Scott hung up. Zimmerman running him towards the plate, and Nieves will tag him out. Ending up at third base is Oscar Salazar, but a base running mistake there. Unless he was going on contact, he ran and then he stopped.
Yeah, you talked about better defense right here, and this is a terrific play by Nick Johnson. Again,
but don't run him towards home.
No,
run him the other way.
Well, you usually don't want to have any more than 2 throws in a rundown.
But they get the double play. But this is a great job by Nick. Comes right up, firing, get rid of the ball. Throws it over to Zimmerman. Zimmerman's going to run him towards the catcher. Like you said, 1 throw, tags him out. Salazar moves up to third. That's good base running on his part.
2 men down now on the play, and here's Robert Andino, the number 9 batter. So Lannon has a chance to get out of this very inexpensively after second and third and nobody out.
I almost feel like this is like what happened to Jeremy Guthrie yesterday.
Exactly.
There's a tapper out in front of the plate. Nieves pounces on it and fires to first, and Lannon gets out of it. The leadoff walk scores, but no more. We'll head to the third and a 1-0 Orioles lead.
Welcome back to Camden Yards. Nats hitting coach Rick Eckstein admits that this team is struggling with their situational hitting. The Nats are hitting only .236 with runners in scoring position, and it's an area the team has worked diligently to improve.
To get that crucial hit with runners in scoring position and deliver that knockout punch, a lot of times guys, their heart's in the right place where you're wanting to do it so bad, but emotionally you have to stay under control. You still have to work and get a good pitch to do it on, and take control of the moment.
Adam Dunn told me, too, that when hitters try too hard, sometimes they swing at pitches that they shouldn't, so it's really key that they keep that same approach. Jim?
All right, Debbie, thank you very much. Good to have Debbie Taylor with us here at Camden Yards. Anderson Hernandez leading off, swings through the pitch, 0-2.
There it is, the invisible fastball. I think at 94, and looks like it's moving today, and he got a couple of fastballs in the middle of the plate to Zimmerman, but he got him to hit it to the big part of the ballpark.
Well, the one thing that I see, he's got very slow and deliberate mechanics, and then the ball explodes out of his hand. So that might be the invisible fastball. Yeah,
that's the deception.
When you're throwing 95, and then he's just kind of slowly, meticulous, bang.
Line through the middle, a breaking ball hung, and Hernandez hits it through. First base hit for the Nats.
Well, there you go.
That was a good approach by Anderson right there. He swung hard early in the count, and then he backed off a little bit and drove the ball up the middle.
It's like Christmas coming early when you get that kind of breaking ball when you're down in the count. Well, it's an interesting thing about hitting with, situational hitting with runners in scoring position. At least this year, the Orioles have done it better than the Nationals. But again, if you look at Nick Johnson, he's got the highest average. And what's his approach? He's going to make you throw strikes whether they're on or not. I get an idea that Nick knows that certain guys will go to certain areas to try to get you out when there's runners on versus when there aren't. That's something else I think you have to factor in.
And Nick is like Aubrey Huff, even better. He's lifetime over 300 hitting off of lefties. It's just crazy. I mean, to be able to stick in there like that against lefties, and you got to give him a lot of credit for that. But it's the approach. It's going up there, and I played with Hal Morris, lifetime 300 hitter that played with Don Mattingly, and Mattingly would say, listen, if there's an RBI out there with less than 2 outs, all I got to do is hit the ball up the middle towards the shortstop and second baseman if they're playing back, and that's an RBI. You just got to think about it a little bit.
Will Nieves, the number 9 batter up. Toss to first. Anderson Hernandez has 5 steals on the year. He's been caught twice. There have been only 2 stolen base attempts on David Hernandez in his brief time with the Orioles. Both have been successful.
Yeah, a couple of starts, and he got the early lead, but very well against the Tigers, and then struggled out in Seattle. But the Orioles struggled in that West Coast trip. Only the 1-0 game by Rich Hill was a victory they had on the West Coast. Where they will go back out a little bit different. They play the Angels at the end of the week, 4th of July weekend, 4 out there, and then off to Seattle for 3.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough road trip because it's 7 games in 7 days, and you have the Angels red hot, and Seattle, that's the ballpark the Orioles can't seem to hit a home run in.
Well, but great pitcher's park.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
High fly ball to left. Back on it is Reimold. He has a play now just in front of the warning track. Has it for the out. And chugging back to first, Anderson Hernandez, 1 away. Well, as Rob just mentioned, tomorrow the Red Sox will be here at Oriole Park, beginning a 3-game series with the Birds at 7:05. And tickets for each game in the series still available and start as low as $15. So come on out and paint the ballpark orange and black for this classic ALE showdown. 888-848-BIRD online, Orioles.com. Always a lot of atmosphere here, and John Lester's on the mound tomorrow for Boston against Jason Birkin.
Come out and beat back that Red Sox nation.
That's hard.
Invaded
hard
DC.
to do. Second best record in baseball. Only the Dodgers with a better winning percentage.
Their fans travel well. You show up and bring that orange and black,
which is terrific.
Well, I thanked them on Twitter. I said, hey, thanks for coming up. And they set attendance records in DC 3 straight days. It was very nice.
Well, we were talking before the game. I mean, the Red Sox set the benchmark, I think, to me, for all major league teams. I mean, because they set the standards. They won in 2004, 2007. I mean, Tampa Bay beat them last year, but they were the wild ball club. So again, it's a good way to judge, good yardstick to judge your own ball club. Now, to do that, of course, this 0-4 has got to stop. You got
to beat the club.
4-game sweep up in Boston.
The Orioles have that dreaded Patriots Day series, the holdover 11 a.m. game on Monday morning. 1-2 on Willie Harris, who grounded out his first at bat.
Yeah, after that game, which was the 4th loss in a row, they would have rather run the marathon, which is what they run that morning, than play at 11 o'clock. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like I don't know, you being a reliever, but when I was a starter, a lot of times I pitched some of the B games, and you would play those games at 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Ball and 2 strikes on Harris. 1 on, 1 down. Runner goes. Pitches high. Throw to second by Wieters. The tag. Out at second base. So there you go. Wieters catches his first of the day as Anderson Hernandez goes.
And it appeared to me he had a pretty good jump. But what did Matt Wieters do? You know, pretty big lead, and he takes a look. So that's a little bit surprising. And again, just a strong, accurate throw. Good footwork. Nice tag right there.
Yeah, Wiggins slaps that right down on the base, which is what you're supposed to do. Nice throw.
I played with Mark Belanger. He would just drop the glove, encourage the umpire to call it. And again, that's what you try to do. Get it down there as quickly as you can.
Yesterday he did not play, so he was out with Don Werner working on the mechanics, the footwork, the throws. And today in his first game back, he catches the first potential base stealer of the day as Anderson Hernandez is gunned down.
But you see how smooth, smoother he was today than he was down against Florida?
And that's not an easy throw. I mean, you can illustrate this where he's got to step outside to the left side of the hitter with a lefty up there to throw to his throwing side. You know, if there's a right-handed hitter, he just steps out, he throws to second base. That way, that was actually a much better throw. So you can illustrate this right here. He has to step out here to throw up there, and he does a great job. So give the kid some credit.
That looked like a little two-seam fastball. It curved right back to the glove.
Yep. You know, maybe when he closed for Georgia Tech, he went with a two-seamer.
Yeah, if the kid could throw 96, you know he's got a tremendous arm.
Yeah, well, it's not arm strength. That's certainly not a problem.
Line drive, that'll fall, base hit. That heads for the corner. Markakis will have to hurry. Willie Harris can fly. Markakis plays the carom, and there's a 2-out double. So that caught stealing very big for the Nationals. Well, the Orioles scouting director Joe Jordan, who still isn't done. He still has to sign more draft picks, but yesterday got the top draft pick signed. There is Joe's cousin Kim, her husband Darren, and the children Drake and Davis. They are visiting Joe from Oklahoma, so we want to give them a hearty welcome here. There they are. There's the family in. And the youngster has on an O's hat, as he should.
Yeah, I asked the Orioles, I asked Andy McPhail, who's the president of baseball operations, I said 15 out of 50. He said that's pretty good pace. Now, of course, the Nationals.
Well, we had this was last week. We'd signed 16 out of 51.
How's the Strasburg lottery going?
I'll have to ask him.
Guzman, first ball swinging, pops it up, and Hernandez gets out of it. 2 hits and no runs. Orioles coming to bat. Bob Carpenter joins you. Orioles have the lead.
Masson, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by PNC Bank. PNC leading the way. John Lannon in and out of trouble. First couple of innings, 33 pitches, 20 strikes. And for the Orioles, top of the order, Adam Jones, bottom 3 in a 1-0 game. Ripped to left. Adam Jones against the Nationals in his career is now 22 for 47. He's approaching the 460 mark against Washington pitching.
Yeah, he doesn't miss a whole lot of belt high fastball, especially in the middle of the plate. And watch this one right there. That's exactly where it is. You know that John Lannon wanted to maybe get it away a little bit, sink it away. And the thing about Adam, he's a much better hitter against right-handed pitching. You know, only 3 of his 12 home runs. 275 hitter, well over 300 against righties, but 275 against lefties. But he got a good pitch to hit.
Ty Wigginton next, popped out to right first time. Orioles have 3 hits now. They've had a couple of runners walk. And this ball slapped out of play to the right side.
You know, Rob, it seems to me that a lot of times when you get young pitchers, you don't want to discourage them from throwing strikes. But they don't always have to be perfect strikes. But they certainly don't want to be in the middle of the plate either.
I know exactly what you're saying. We said that with Jordan Zimmerman. There was a time where he was throwing everything so well, and he was throwing almost 80% of his pitches for strikes, including his last start. I think he threw 77 pitches for strikes. They were too fine.
And up the middle, that ball bouncing right to the bag. Easy double play for Christian Guzman. And the Nationals have now turned 2 after the Orioles turned 4 last night.
There you go. Here's a ground ball by Ty Wigginton right here. If you're the shortstop and you're right by the bag, Christian Guzman steps on it even with the wrong foot, throws off the left foot. Perfect strike to Nick Johnson. But to get back to your point, so Jordan Zimmerman is starting to change eye level. He's starting to get, not effectively wild because he doesn't even need to do that, but change the eye level occasionally, not waste a pitch, but locate it better.
Yeah, in and out and up and down.
See, that's why this guy he's in the Hall of Fame. We say the same stuff all the time. Don't throw so many strikes. But you got to make them dance too every now and then. Oh. The first night in, the Orioles are just standing there smoking the ball.
Hey, Jim, you know how many hitters Rob Dibble hit in his career? Not many.
Well, I didn't hit too many either. If I did, I always felt that there's a big difference between hitting guys and it's a little different nowadays because they wear the armament and they kind of lean into pitches. But
no, I hit 12.
I have no idea how many I hit, but I didn't like to do it but I did like to pitch off the plate. It's just, Joe Rudy one night, he hit a ball on a Sunday afternoon about 4 inches outside the outside corner down the right field line for double. And I go, okay, let's see if you can hit 1 6 inside. Hit him in the back of the hand. He had to leave the game. I didn't break his hand, but I'm going, if you can hit the ball way off the plate, then you're going to see if you can dodge the one inside.
Little flare, and Anderson Hernandez with his good range out there to grab it. 3 Oriole batters in the 3rd, and that's it. On to the 4th. Johnson, Zimmerman, and Dunn in a 1-0 game. $14 gets you a seat in the upper right field terrace. $25 each side of the ballpark. Reserve lower bowl. You get a hot dog, non-alcoholic drink, and chips with each ticket. Minimum 2 tickets per purchase. Kids run the bases on Sunday. Pre-game autographs. 888-632-NATS or nationals.com. Nick Johnson hitting number 3 today, and he takes one on the outside corner.
Well, and to get back to what you're talking about, I mean, the velocity I was throwing at, I never wanted to throw up near a guy's head. Never wanted to locate it near his, neck area. But if I'm going to get underneath your arms, I'm going to go for your armpit. And I think a lot of kids today are afraid of, A, hitting somebody, which isn't what pitching is, and B, making a guy move off the plate. You make him uncomfortable, you get him back on his heels, it sets up your breaking stuff away. That's pitching. Yeah. So you don't even need to really hit anybody.
Yeah, it really changes perspective of the outside corner.
Johnson hitting one extremely hard, ball hooking a bit, but Markakis right there for the first out.
Yeah, I think the one thing for David Hernandez, second time through the order, especially in the heart of the order, he's going to have to use that changeup. It's not that he hasn't thrown the curveball. He hung one, and that's what Hernandez hit up the middle for. But the changeup slows down the fastball. So I have to imagine that Rick Eckstein has told all these guys, hey, he's going to come at you with a fastball. He's in the middle of the plate, probably more than he'd like to be. So look for it. We saw Johnson do it and rip it. We got a little unlucky, but that changeup will slow the bat down. Otherwise, and you can see right there, I mean, that's about 5 fastballs that Ryan Zimmerman has had right in the middle of the plate.
Now, the thing I like today is he's really taking some cuts. He's not as, I guess, meticulous. No, sometimes he has a swing area, and today he's just taking some hacks. He's going back to old style hit it, see it, and hit it.
And a good take there on a good breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. Zimmerman 2 for 7 with a walk in this series. Still hitting between 295 and 300. He's been one of the best hitters in the National League against right-handed pitching this year at 329. Only 4 hitters in the league have higher averages.
I want to say disciplined. He's very disciplined at the plate, and sometimes just be undisciplined. Go up there and hack.
That sounds like a true pitcher.
I would love to have a guy do that.
And he rips that one, hooking away from Reimold. It'll hit at the wall, and Ryan Zimmerman digging for a 1-out double. That'll be his 21st double of the year to go with 12 home runs.
Well, there's your perfect example of the difference between the minor leagues. You figure, okay, fastball count, I'll just throw him a changeup, but look where it is, middle of the plate, and it's not fool the quality hitters like Ryan Zimmerman, and he just rips it into the corner.
Here's the Exmo swing. I'm not a big proponent of changeups to right-handed guys. It's like a lefty throwing changeups to lefty guys.
Did I throw some long home runs? Jim Rice, Lance Parrish, upper deck in Boston or in Detroit. I thought it was a good pitch till it was about halfway to home plate, and I realized it was going to go a long way. And it was so much better against lefties, but they just kind of put their front down and then hit it in the upper deck. I thought,
Nationals struggling in situations like this. They've been retired 10 of 12 times. A lot of that last night. Washington had 5 at-bats last night with the bases loaded, nobody out. They walked twice and hit 3 ground balls, 2 of them for double plays. Sometimes you'd love to see a can of corn fly ball to an outfielder, wouldn't you?
Yep. I tried to throw a changeup. It was a dry spitter where I didn't hold the seams. So I threw one in spring training in a simulated game. Cal Daniels hit it so far. That was the last changeup I ever tried to throw.
And see you later.
Kind of like that.
well, that may have been the longest ball I've ever seen hit here.
Easily to Utah Street. Bouncing around out there, and the Nationals lead 2-1.
So you're seeing a team do some pretty good situational hitting where they have a young rookie, then they're taking advantage of the fact that he's pretty much just getting the fastball over.
Well, you got a rookie pitcher, rookie catcher right here. He's going to throw a pitch that's supposed to be down and away, too much of the plate, and he's done that almost 300 times in his career at the major league level. Welcome to the big league, son.
I hope that Boog Powell didn't get hurt because the barbecue's out there.
That might have taken a couple of ribs off the round. By the way, that's number 297 for Adam Dunn.
Well, that's what the third
series, his second and third RBIs.
Yeah, third home run he's hit against the Orioles in the interleague, the grand slam, the solo, and he does it all on Sundays. Mr. Sunday.
Well, one of these days he's going to develop a little bit more of a power swing.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I don't know if Adams like Boog Powell, but Boog never ever got all of one. You know, he did it about 440 feet, and we say, Boog, you get down? No, just got it out on the end.
Almost got it.
Yeah, almost got it. Well, I think he got all that. Boy, was that. I call him Paul Bunyan of left-handed hitters.
There's our Paul Bunyan right there.
Yeah, well, that's what. No, I'm talking about Adam. He's big and strong.
You know, but that's a ball player. Like he's got the scruffy beard, the gum hanging out of his mouth.
He's a big kid, is what he is.
Yeah. And I like the fact that you said that he was going to be a starting quarterback at Texas.
Oh yeah, he's a good athlete, much better athlete than people think. He's got 60 stolen bases. So he's not just a big, strong kid. He can run too.
After one ball goes about 450 or 60, that one goes about 75 feet for a base hit. So the Nationals have 3 consecutive hits here in the 4th. Elijah Dukes, who is slumping for his last 29, is next.
We usually get a reading on how far the home runs go, but I think they're still trying to meter. I think they're trying to figure out how far it did go.
There's a lot of frustration pent up in that swing.
He hit one at Citi Field. They're still talking about it. Went by the end of the 3rd deck, way out in right field.
He's a little lazy with some of his off-speed pitches. There was a curveball that
I think
way up in the zone.
I think what happens is that he's more comfortable throwing his fastball. So again, it's not that you don't throw your breaking balls, but if you spot your fastball, you can use your breaking ball out of the strike zone. And you can finish it a little bit more. You figure to me, it was always a lot easier to throw my breaking ball down, especially if you can trust your catcher.
And we're seeing the same trend with your staff that our young staff has, is the 2nd and 3rd time through the lineup. Their batting averages are going up. They're giving up more extra base hits, and it's really a concentration thing. Okay, now the 2nd time, they've already seen me once. I have to focus a little bit more. The 3rd time, 4th time, I have to focus a little bit more now because this guy's seen me twice. That's how you learn how to pitch up.
Yeah, another fastball situation here, and you're asking David Hernandez to try to throw a breaking ball over. And if you've been watching along with us at home, you figure how many has he thrown over tonight? So the percentage is very low, and all of a sudden he gets deeper into the hole.
That, by the way, the first home run he's given up, and he'll remember that one a long time. That went a long way. 3-1 to Dukes, and Elijah Dukes has been trying to pull everything lately.
And he's got to go to right center with that pitch.
There is no reason to throw him anything on the inner half. Orioles just behind the Yankees, having given up their 93rd. Washington hitting its 69th of the year. 3-2 to Dukes. He lays off the high fastball with the runner going, and it'll be 1st and 2nd, 1 out. 4 consecutive base runners. 2nd walk of the day for Hernandez, and here's Anderson Hernandez.
Yeah, and you get both Alan Dunn, who's taken over for Rick Kranitz, the Oriole pitching coach. His father-in-law passed away. He comes out. Matt Wieters had already headed out to the mound. The one thing about most of the battery makes that you will see, Wieters has caught most of these guys in the minor leagues.
Right.
But again, you come to a different level, and they both, as you mentioned, have to learn this level. So,
and but the thing that I've said about Wieters and any young catcher, including our own Jesus Flores, you got to learn the opposition. You know, you've got one of the toughest divisions, the American League East. Every team is full of bombers and just fantastic hitters. That's one of the toughest jobs for a catcher. Learn the ins and outs, idiosyncrasies of the opponents and how they hit. So he's not only trying to call a game for the Orioles pitchers, he's got to learn the opposition.
2 on, 1 out. Hernandez singled up the middle first time, then was caught stealing. By the way, the measurement on the Dunn home run, 442 feet.
Yeah. That's a bit low.
It didn't hit did it hit the warehouse?
I think it bounced and then hit it.
A short hop of the warehouse. Majestic, though, wasn't it? My first home run was off the top of the dead center, about 445 to Moose Scourin in Chicago. Wow. And on the line. And it was impressive. If you're ever going to throw your first one, you want to make it a long one.
Little bouncer up the middle, another shortstop near the bag for a 6-3 double play. Anderson Hernandez of the Nationals gone, but after Zimmerman's double, Adam Dunn dials some serious long distance in downtown Baltimore. The Nationals lead 2-1. tomorrow. The Nats in Miami, a 3-game set with the Marlins. Scott Olson and Ricky Nolasco will get you going at 6:30 on MASN 2. Nats Extra presented by Verizon Wireless. O's welcome the Red Sox here. Jason Birkin and John Lester. O's Extra presented by AT&T at 6:30 on MASN HD. Game coverage at 7. We have all the access you need to the Nationals and the Orioles right here on MASN. John Lannon's 41st pitch of the day. Aubrey Huff is up there, having struck out first time on a breaking ball. Must be high, 2-0.
And if you're going to give up a home run, and you were telling your story, I gave up the 4th home run in the same game that Mark Whitten hit in Cincinnati. And I had given up a home run in the first game of the doubleheader, and I was just trying to get my stuff back together. And I fell behind him 2-0, and I'm like, oh, geez, he's already got 3 home runs. You can't not challenge this guy. So I challenged him with a fastball, and he hit that ball. Of the 4 home runs, it was by far the farthest. Was just an absolute bomb. It was about 480 feet. So actually, you know, for one of the first times in my career, I was happy that, okay, I didn't give up a cheap hit or a walk to this guy, and he did what I wanted him to do. I said, if you can hit it, let's see you hit it, and he did.
And Manny Acta did not want John Lannon, after he presented him with a 1-run lead, to walk the first batter.
No, that's it's a cardinal sin. You don't want to do that.
Well, the Orioles have had their leadoff man on every inning. And I haven't seen John Lannon do this. 3 out of 4 leadoff walks. Here's Nolan Reimold, what he did last night, that high-towering drive that Josh Willingham never saw. Jones and Huff aboard, his 9th of the year, the big hit of that ball game last night. He's been large in this series.
No, we've got a Paul Bunyan. They have actually, you guys have a pair of Paul Bunyans, because I'll put Huff in there too.
You know, it's funny that one of the stronger guys is sitting on deck is Luke Scott. You know, he's a littler guy,
put together quite well.
Oh yeah.
That's what's amazing to me, though. I mean, the Astros gave up Scott. The Mariners gave up Jones. I mean, you guys.
Well, we did give up Eric Bedard.
You gave up Eric Bedard. I won't get into that right now. But
we don't have time to talk about
exactly. But you got Adam Jones, who's a fabulous player. You got Luke Scott, who's a fabulous player. So I think you guys did quite well. Your evaluators did a great job.
Yeah, Tejada goes to Houston.
And that's 2. There's 8 more guys that were involved in those 6.
Exactly. Well, Chris Tillman, a 6'5", 20-year-old right-hander, also part of the Bedard deal.
Line drive, and the runner makes a mistake. Oh. And then Hernandez bobbles the ball and blows the double play.
Yeah, I don't think he could believe that Aubrey actually was getting that far off the bases. This is a P. And there you go. Where is it?
That's actually kind of funny. But on the transfer, he loses control. And that's a catch.
And the second base umpire, Brian Knight, staring right at him. But
it almost looked like he was staring at Huff and could not believe he was that far off the bag.
I mean, that's worse than blowing a 4.63 or not turning a 6.43 from the other side of the infield. That was room service made to order. And here's Scott, who doubled, and if he gets a hit here, that'll be very costly. Nationals had a chance to turn their 3rd double play in 4 innings. Two and 0.
Well, Luke Scott is hitting .321 against lefties. He already this year has 7 home runs. Now last year he hit .215. Bothered by the Achilles tendon of that back foot, so he wasn't near as good a hitter as he is this year.
That ball to left center. Willie Harris is going to track it down.
Well, we got a guy there.
Yes. Do you ever? Well, you know, I look at center fielders, and I had a chance to play with Paul Blair who won 9 Gold Gloves. It was terrific. And, you know, it's funny, whether you're broadcasting or you're pitching, when the ball is hit off the bat and you sometimes jerk your head around because it's hit so hard, you want to, if you look and your guy's already moving, you know he got a great jump. And then there's other guys, you see the crossover step, and the ball's already going up the gap. Well, with Willie Harris, the ball's going in the gap, and he's on the run. As is with Adam Jones and Blair and all the good outfits.
You had Paul Blair, I had Eric Davis.
Yeah.
And Eric would be in full dead stride on a ball going away from and tapping his leg. And as soon as I saw the glove tap the leg, I knew he had the catch.
Did anybody play more shallow than Paul Blair?
Elliot Maddox. He could read the signs. And Blair played very shallow. And, you know, once a year somebody hit up the gap, and Earl Weaver would say, "You're too shallow," and he'd mope for an inning, and then he'd go back to play where he The one thing about Paul Blair, and I'm sure that Eric Davis, but he had such great body control. So if you play shallow, you better be able to go back and not jump into the wall. And Paul just had to, he played a very good basketball player, great leaping ability. Shot too much when we played in the offseason, but he could go over the fence and never hit the fence because he had great vertical leap. Not too many guys can do that.
And a 1-2 pitch fouled off by Salazar.
And actually Eric Davis made one of the greatest World Series catches that gets overlooked, and he pierced his kidney. He lacerated his kidney on the catch because he was 6'3", 185 pounds, about 4% body fat, and his elbow went up underneath his abdomen and into his kidney area. But it was still a game-saving catch, and we went on to sweep the A's. So, he was playing left field because of a bad knee that year.
That was 1990.
Yep. So, yes, there's been great catches in the World Series, but for me, that was one of the greatest I've ever seen, and he was seriously injured.
Off-speed pitch, and Hernandez will grab that one, and the inning is over. Orioles have stranded 3, and after 4, Washington by 1.
Adam Dunn got a hold of this pitch, drives it out into the street and off the warehouse. Gives the Washington Nationals a lead. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered.
Well, in Washington, that would have headed what, towards the Capitol? No, it would have been the other way. It would have been left field.
That ball would be on one of the battleships in the Navy Yard right now. Will Nieves specializes in going to right field. That one down the line and a long run. It's a fair ball when caught on a good play by Nick Markakis.
Well, Gold Glove caliber right fielder for the Orioles, leads the American League in assists. 17 last year, 8 already this year. Difficulty here is again it's a rubberized track and doesn't slow you down any.
I'm a little surprised the Orioles play him as far off the line as they do. He is a bona fide right field right-handed hitter.
Well, we'll call the clubhouse and move him over for the late innings.
Somebody missed that scattering report on that.
Well, normally a guy like Will Nieves, you don't usually play him around and short to the off field. Maybe not with anybody out because of the extra base hit, but I'm a firm believer you play him where they usually hit him.
Here's Willie Harris, and he takes one that just misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Harris with a double and 2 trips today is hit safely now in 7 of his last 9 games. So he's warming it up a bit. 10 for his last 33. Couldn't buy a hit for a couple of weeks before that. That's why his numbers are way down, but they're on the way up again. Through 4 innings, 72 pitches, 44 strikes for Hernandez. John Lannon's only thrown 58. Harris pulls it. Ryan Marquise Grissom and a foul.
Yeah, thigh high inside to a left-handed hitter, even if he's a kind of a controlled punch. He's not a punch and Judy, but he's a slap hitter or contact hitter, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Slasher. Yeah, they're going to hit it hard.
Yes.
And when you have your first baseman in, at least early on, until you get to 2 strikes, it's not a good combination.
Well, the thing I see with the long counts with Hernandez is he's not locating either the changeup or the breaking ball. Yeah, he can throw the fastball over, and but you got to start locating that breaking ball and changeup just for strikes. It'll cut down on your pitches.
Willie Harris takes the 1-out walk. Each pitcher has walked 3. Nats fans, get your red on and get a Grand Slam Flex plan. You pick 4 games, you get 5 different plans to choose from. Pick your plan, your games, your seats, and get a free game. The all-new Grand Slam Flex plan, 202-675-NATS, or visit nationals.com/Grand Slam. Possible running situation here. Good bat control guy in the box in Guzman. Willie Harris, a good lead. He had 1 foot, the front foot, beyond the cut of the grass next to first base. Harris, by the way, 6 of 7 stealing. The Nationals aren't much of a running team in terms of stolen bases, 24 on the year, tied for last with Milwaukee. Going that time, and he is safe under a good, accurate throw by Wieters. Harris just beat it.
Yeah, and he stole that on David Hernandez because, again, back-to-back terrific throws by Matt Wieters.
Remember, he's got to jump out there to the right-handed batter's box and he makes a perfect throw. I don't know if he might have got him there. See the Exmo.
Well, slap the tag. It's grass just a little bit high from that angle. It's hard to tell there either.
Yeah, it's hard to tell there.
Umpire right there, though.
Could have gone either way.
Yep.
Now Guzman hits it sharply to the right side.
Yeah, don't try Whittaker. No, yeah.
And that'll be 2 outs with another run at third base. Nick Johnson,
here we go. The definitive tag right here. Drop it. Get the glove down.
No, it looks like he missed the tag.
Yeah. Looks like he tagged the base and not the foot. That's a great throw.
Well, that's 2 in a row.
Yeah.
But again, the Nationals doing what they need to do. You're struggling for runs. You got a guy with speed.
Yep.
Based on what you talked about earlier, Jim, I didn't see any hurry in either of those throws. He was nice and relaxed.
Well, that is what Don Werner told him yesterday, and they worked on it. And that's why he didn't want to bring out the stopwatch, because he said, when you bring out the stopwatch, don't mean you don't time him. He's on the bench timing him. But he said, you don't do it next to him. He said, hey, I want good footwork. And again, great arm strength. Just make the throw.
Yeah,
that's all you can do.
Rushing to try to get it there.
Well, the Nationals are one of the top 3 scoring teams in the National League in April. They were collecting base hits in situations just like this.
Yeah, 2-out hits.
They had great 2-out hitting, good situational hitting. That has disappeared for the last month and a half.
But you do have your best guy with runners in scoring position in the lineup.
Young pitcher trying to put him away on 0-2, and Nick Johnson out ahead of that one.
Yeah, the one thing, and I look at Nick Johnson, and I've seen him when he came up with the Yankees, and I said, here's a guy in the minor leagues, a great on-base percentage, almost always, this is one of the exceptions, hits in good counts. But he's very much like Nick Markakis, where if you look at his pattern of hits, all over, left, center, he's got more
of the field.
Yeah, he really does. Markakis may be a little bit more consistent to left field, but a lot of hits to center and left for Nick. And to me, that makes it just harder to pitch to him, because if you make a good pitch down and away, which is a good pitch to a pull hitter because they roll over and they try to pull it and you stack your defense, to him it may be a ball that finds a gap or a hole in the left center or left field part of the ballpark.
The thing that we've found with Nick, Ryan Zimmerman, and Adam Dunn is sometimes they take too many pitches. They're so disciplined that in situations where you would kind of like your 3-4-5 or 2-3-4 guys swinging, they're walking. And sometimes it's not that bad to walk your 3-4-5 guys.
1-2 the count.
And there's no bargain, because if you're David Hernandez, and again, this is your 3rd major league start, if you pitch around Nick Johnson and you're already trailing by a run, you have a guy with one swing that can really change the way the scoreboard looks for the Orioles and your numbers for the afternoon.
Johnson hit the ball hard last time, right at Markakis. That ball a little bit high, and Jim Joyce is not giving anywhere near a high strike today.
He's been missing with that curveball up all day, and I don't think he was going to give it to him right there.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he gets it down a little bit, it's going to be a 2-run home run. This is your hanger.
Northrop Grumman right there on the pitch track, but that was outside the box.
3-2 pitch. Nick Johnson goes the other way. It's right at Reimold. And it will continue to be a one-run game halfway through. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Nats lead the O's 2-1. Book your next trip at Southwest.com. Bob Carpenter back with Rob Dibble, Jim Palmer. Now, Rob, when the Nats were going well at New York and against Toronto, these are the kind of games they were winning because their starters were able to get deep into the game.
Yeah, and this is where John Lennon is at his best. He's been walking the leadoff guy or giving up a leadoff hit, but he can get the double play and he can pitch his way out. And that's pitching to me. When you get in a jam, you're able to work it out and keep your team in the game. And this is a tight ball game, and it's probably going to go over to the bullpen. And, Jim, that's where we've had a little bit of a problem is our bullpen lately.
Yeah, you know, Landon, when he got in trouble, he had first and third, one run in. He got Wieters to get the double play. And I tell you, I've already learned. I've only seen Adam Dunn play on 2 Sundays. He's got 8 RBIs and 3 home runs. I am not pitching to him the rest of the afternoon. Then I'll take my chances.
Yeah,
he's been that good against the Orioles.
Matt Wieters, bottom of the 5th. And John Lennon, after a few struggles early, has a very economical pitch count. He's right at about 14 pitches per inning through his first 4. And usually when John pitches like this, guys will start swinging a little early in the count, and he'll get some quick outs.
Oh, yeah, he got Ty Wigington on one. He's got Aubrey Huff to pop out. I mean, that's some stuff that you know you've got good stuff when guys start hacking early.
Yeah, and he's got Wigington came into this game at 13 for 26. He's got him out twice. But what I like is just the fact that, you know, and I've seen John Lennon, he beat the Orioles. I think he beat us 2-1 a couple of years ago. He just commands the ball real well. And again, you just have to do that. And everybody that, and we talked about it earlier, he's not a soft tosser. He's got pretty good command. And what I like, even though he's throwing 80, well, you know, 80, occasionally 93, he's finishing his pitches. So he's not just throwing the ball to the hitter.
Great location there and easy for Anderson Hernandez.
No, the one thing I do love about John Lennon is he's got great mechanics. He's out over that front leg all the time. And like you said, he finishes off very well, and he sells that changeup perfectly.
Well, you know, you and I, and when we came up, we were pretty blessed where fastball count, they could be looking for a fastball, and we're going, hey, right, here it is. John Lennon understands what he is. And for me, I think for young pitchers, whether you're David Hernandez or you're John Lennon, you got to understand, I have to make my pitches. I have to stay out of the middle of the plate. And when I do that, I'm going to have success. And when I pitch down and away, down and down and away, hitters are going to make adjustments. That's when I have to pitch to the inside of the part of the plate. And for a young guy who went 9-15 last year, again, it wasn't about the fact that he didn't pitch well. It was the fact he's pitching for a team that doesn't win a lot of games. But I'll tell you what, he does a lot of good things to help you win ball games on the mound.
Yeah, he does. And that's the thing. And probably haven't watched the Orioles the way they swung the bat the first night here with the 16 hits and the 11 runs, and then what they did last night to come back with those long balls. I'm sure he's a little bit more careful about where he locates his changeups and his curveballs.
Robert Andino takes a perfect pitch on the outside corner. And the count's 2-1. Andino 0 for 1 with the tapper in front of the plate today, 2 for 9 in the series. Good fielding crowd here. That's the second good clean catch we've seen today. At a 2-2 to Andino batting 9th ahead of Adam Jones, and he takes one low, and Lannon does not want to walk him with Adam Jones coming up.
Well, he's got the power, even though he's in the leadoff hole for Brian Roberts today. He's got the power of a 3 or a 4 guy. You don't want to get this guy on base.
Had him reaching a chopper. Guzman will have to hurry. And he plays it well on the run, 2 outs, and now John Lannon has the Orioles hitting the ball in the dirt after a line drive and 2 pop-ups last inning.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of Baltimore chops. The infield speeded up as the summer goes on, and the thing that amazes me, and you watch them take infield practice when we talk about infielders, you have to be able to anticipate how long it's going to take a guy to get to first base. And Guzman catches it, doesn't hurry. You could see him. He just kind of has that innate clock.
Yep.
That's all good infielders have. And they don't hurry it. They just make the throw, and it gets there in plenty of time.
And that's the changeup we were talking about, the way he just finished it right there. And to young pitchers, you really have to have the same arm speed as the fastball, and it's really the grip that does all the hard work.
Nationals will finally retire Jones. Zimmerman almost threw it away. Nick Johnson reached for it. And a 1-2-3 for John Lannon. His first clean inning today. Braves Friday through Sunday. Pre-game live band and fireworks on Friday. First 20,000 fans Saturday receive mini U.S. flags, and Sunday, July 5th, family fun day. Pre-game autographs, post-game kids run the bases. 888-632-NATS or nationals.com. Here's Ryan Zimmerman, 1 for 2 in the cleanup spot today. Zimmerman hit cleanup in 15 ball games, 60 at bats for Frank Robinson back in 06, and he hit .283 with 3 homers and 17 RBIs. So better than an RBI a game.
But does it really make a difference? I mean, when we faced him last time, wasn't Johnson hitting second? He was hitting third, and Dunn was hitting fourth. So it's the same progression.
Sequence.
Yes. So again, you talk. I mean, we know.
We know, but.
What
they're like us. They think.
And I think a lot of it depends on who's giving who protection.
Yeah, well, and that's the point I was trying to make, is that doesn't really change.
Well, he got a double, and so then your guy gave up the home run pitch to Dunn. So as long as Ryan hits, then Dunn's going to get better pitches to see.
And one of the key guys in that sequence beyond that is the resurgence of Josh Willingham. I mean, he's really hitting the ball well. He's getting up to around 270. And it took him about a month and a half to get off the interstate.
You just got to put blinders on him when there's runners on, because he's such a much better hitter when nobody is.
Yeah. That was a hanger.
Yep.
Zimmerman hits a gasher off the glove of Salazar, who did a good job of hanging with it. Should be a base hit, and Zimmerman would be 2 for 3.
Hey, P. What do they call it? Hot corner? Yeah, what did Richie Allen said? You know what? It's a reflex position. You either catch it or you don't.
Yeah, this is a seed. Salazar knocks it down. But the funny thing that I saw was Ryan Zimmerman. Boy, he smelled hit. All of a sudden, he kicked in another gear, and he gets an infield single.
Well, here you go, Adam Dunn, pitcher working off the stretch.
I know who's going to be hitting fourth tomorrow night.
Well, Manny Acta said, I need to play my best players. And they kind of have the A-team in today, other than maybe Josh Bard. There are Adam Dunn. So he does everything so well. I mean, I was going to strike out. That's Adam Dunn.
81 times this year, but 60 walks. And he gets a high strike call. Does Hernandez 1-1.
Real high.
Comparatively speaking to the rest of the day.
Yep. Yeah, you really don't want to be there, but you'll take it if you're David Hernandez. I mean, belt high, maybe shoulder high, up and out over the plate.
Adam Dunn was waiting for that one, but he got over the top of it, 1-2.
Yeah, I think the difficulty, and Rob, we talked about it. You have a very young battery mate, Chris Ray, getting loose for the Orioles down the bullpen. So you go all the scouting reports, and every team has their advanced scouting reports. And you go Adam Dunn. Well, you want to stay up and in, crowd him, stay out of the middle of the plate, and get him to swing at breaking balls down in the strike zone. And then, of course, the pitcher has to say, well, is that maybe my strength, or do I have to go to something that I don't really do? And we've seen over the afternoon, what's his best pitch? Fastball. Then you got Matt Wieters. Well, what can my pitcher do? We know how we want to get done out, but can the guy that's coming in, whether it's Chris Ray or my starter, do that? And there we go. There's a good one. Finally.
Yeah, kept it down and away.
Well, the one thing about David Hernandez, he came into this inning with 9 pitches. You're still very much in this game. You're trailing by a run.
2-2 changeup, and that's almost pitch number 100. He's what, 97 or 98?
And there's no reason.
That's why Ray's up.
Yeah, and no reason why with his windup he shouldn't, if he can finish his pitches, be able to throw 100 to 115 pitches like that. It's not like he's got a bad windup. It's not like he can command his stuff, that he just doesn't have a windup that allows him to do that.
Josh Willingham with a base hit under the glove of Salazar. And Willingham is 2 for 3. It's more than hot over there right now. Elijah Duke's coming up. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles and Washington Nationals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles and the Nationals. 7 Washington hits. Hernandez had given up the same number of hits through 5 that Guthrie did last night. And I think you'd have to say one guy today is pitching better than the guy did last night, but the guy last night got the win.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it has to do with run support. The one thing, you do miss Melvin Moore at third base. I mean, Melvin hadn't hit a home run in over 150 at bats, but he's playing sparkling defense. So Salazar, good a hitter, but he's not the glove guy.
Elijah Dukes 4 for his last 29. He's not a guy who hits the ball the opposite way a lot, but even when he does it a little, he's much better than he is now.
Well, but they've been feeding him a lot of pitches, fastballs, breaking balls way away. And if you're going to stand in the middle of the box and not step in towards the plate or try and go the other way with it, then they're going to have a field day.
Yeah, don't you think there's your steering wheel if you're a hitter, that front shoulder?
Yep. You got to go towards the ball.
Well, he should get a pretty good pitch to hit here, 2-1. The one guy that David Hernandez has had great command on the outside quarter to third of the plate is Elijah Dukes.
Yep.
Struck him out swinging in the second to end that inning, and then after the 3 consecutive hits walked him in the 4th, but he was erased on the double play ball. And Dukes will pull a slow roller to third, going for 2 and safe. And Aubrey Huff might have saved a run. If that ball gets down the line, Josh Willingham might score from second base.
With any kind of speed, and against Salazar, not playing a lot of third base. Right here, you're going to get the lead runner. There he is. He catches it and then tags the runner, and the throw sails. And Aubrey Huff, a very underrated first baseman. Last year mostly third base, the DH. But he does save a run. And of course, what are you looking at? You try to be balanced so you can come off the bag, and he does a nice job of it.
I'd say he's not underrated in those games against Washington this year. He's been outstanding.
Well, I think, Aubrey, as Alan Dunn will come out and talk to David Hernandez. Aubrey's proving that, he's, unless the Orioles re-sign him, this is the last year of a 3-year deal, that he can not only hit, but he can play the position. I always thought when we saw him at Tampa, didn't see him very much at third base, but the last couple of years, he's played well at third.
Yeah.
Accurate arm. I mean, is he Brooks Robinson? No. Who is? Is he Ryan Zimmerman? No. And he can flat out hit the ball.
Well, if you can play defense and you can hit, it gives you more options to sign with a National League club and an American League club.
So another big spot for Anderson Hernandez.
Well, what I've seen of Aubrey Huff over the last year, he can hit. And
now
I know how well he hits lefties. If I'm any GM out there, I'm signing Aubrey Huff. He's an everyday player.
4 for 8 with a walk in this series is Huff. Hernandez is 1 for 6. That hit today. Double play the next time up.
And that was on a hanging curveball. So I'm sure Alan Dunn came out and said, okay, it's 2-1 ball game. Pitch count over 100. Fastball still good. Velocity at 93. What do we want to do? I mean, this is for the Orioles and the National critical point of the game. The Orioles want to get out of the inning. The Nationals want to add to their lead, make it somewhat easier for John Lanning if that's possible.
0-2 and he stays alive.
So if you're going to throw him any kind of a breaking ball, contrary to what you did the first time, 1 and 2, where he hung it, it's the perfect time. You have runners at first and second. You don't have to worry about the wild pitch with a runner at third. You're going to throw a breaking ball or a changeup, throw it off the plate, throw it out of the strike zone. But do you want to speed up his bat? I guess that's the question. And I'm not sure if you want to throw a knee high in the middle of the plate either.
He's about to throw his 20th pitch this inning, which will put him at 110 in the 6th. Hernandez making it tough to end the inning. Anderson Hernandez up the middle. Willingham is not that fast. Jones has 5 assists, and the ball is dropped by Wieters. Josh Willingham would have been out, and the inning would have been over. Instead, it's 3-1 Washington.
Well, you're right about that, Bob. It's about how much he's going to be out by. Again, a horrible pitch, 0-2, and he just pings it into center field. Watch this throw.
This is right on the
Oh, yeah. Look at that. And I think it skips, stays down. One thing about Matt Wieters, he has done a nice job of blocking the plate. But that time he moved back about, what, a foot, Rob, because of the throw. And so, again, not a good pitch for Hernandez, but it looked like Jones' throw was going to get Hernandez and the Orioles out of the inning.
I don't know if the scorer would give a catcher an error on a play like that, but he would be justified in doing so. Into the Baltimore bullpen with 2 outs here in the 6th. Washington leads 3-1. For David Hernandez, as Anderson Hernandez is given an RBI for this base hit, but the runner obviously should have been out.
I guess you can't assume that, but again, Angel Hernandez with a couple of hits tonight. Hanging breaking ball that time, he just pinged to center field. And you talked about situational hitting. Did a nice job there, cut his swing down and got a good pitch to hit. Chris Ray comes on. He had one of those nightmare innings. They brought him back for the second inning down in Florida, and he threw a grand slam to Hanley Ramirez. Ended up giving up 5 runs and 7 hits in about 2 innings, but actually threw the ball a lot better, at least velocity wise. So That was on Thursday, back here to pitch on Sunday.
We know that feeling, Jim. The Nats are 0-6 against Florida this year. And Hanley Ramirez is usually in the middle of everything.
Well, he had 2 grand slams in that. He did the Adam Dunn impression against the Orioles. A couple of grand slams in that 3-game series.
A couple of good breaking balls, 0-2 to Nieves. Sometimes Will try to pull one pitch during an at-bat, but his forte is going to right field. He's in emergency mode here. Aubrey Huff plays behind the runner Hernandez at first. And he got him on 3 in a row. Nationals pick up a run in the top of the 6th. A bit of a gift on a drop by a rookie catcher. Hernandez RBI makes it 3-1.
Very well since being promoted to Double-A. Bowie, last night he had a good outing. Bowie won both games of a doubleheader. Brian pitched in the first game. He lasted 5 1/3 innings, gave up just 1 earned run, 3 hits, and struck out 5. He is now 2-0 at Bowie. He has a 1.96 ERA overall in the minor leagues this season. Jim?
All right, thank you, Amber. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Wigginton, Markakis, and Huff. And John Lannon giving up only 1 run on 3 hits. All of that came early. He has retired 6 consecutive Orioles and 8 of the last 9. Pretty good off-speed pitch there. Zimmerman to Johnson.
Well, the impressive thing is that when you give up a walk, a double, and a single, and they only get 1 run, you have first and third, nobody out, the game getting a little bit away from you, and you do exactly what you need to do as a starting pitching. That allows you to get into the 6th inning, maybe the 7th inning.
And when you make a base running mistake when you're ahead in the score in a close game, it always seems to come back and haunt you. In this case, the Orioles and Luke Scott back in the 2nd on that 3-5-2 double play. And then, of course, the one in the 4th when Huff should have been doubled off first base. Lannon got the next 2 hitters, no harm done there. Markakis has lined hard to left and popped up to 2nd. Lannon starting to get a little more of that corner now from Jim Joyce. 1-2.
Getaway day.
Well, you're still out there as a starter. You've been around the plate most of the day.
Oh, yes. And, he's throwing it where the glove is. I really think umpires, you have to encourage them to throw strikes.
And that ball will be flied to center for Willie Harris. He's still going. So's the ball. And he makes the grab about 8 to 10 feet in front of the wall. Somewhere around 400 feet away.
Yeah, it was flying away like Southwest.com, but it came back.
Yeah, you're talking to Mr. Southwest.com right here. That's how I get back to South Florida. And again, it's some new buildings here. It's kind of funny about Camden Yards, when not funny if you're a pitcher, but when it was first built, the ball carried. Then they built the football. And Willie going, yep, it was blowing out.
And a base hit by Aubrey Huff.
Well, imagine that.
Huff with a walk today, and Aubrey Huff is 5 out of 9 with 2 walks in the series, so he's been on base 7 times this weekend.
But again, then the new buildings in the background here in left center field, and all of a sudden the dynamics change. So the ball, especially on Sunday afternoons, has a tendency to carry a little bit better. Kind of like Oakland. Oakland, you pitch there at night, and you go, "Wow, this is a great place to pitch." And then Sunday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, anything in the air.
San Francisco, the same thing. San Francisco, it could be 80 during the day and 40 at night.
How about right center though? The new ballpark.
No, you can't hit
it's forever.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, the one thing about with Nolan Reimold, if you're the Orioles, you figure the way this young man has been hitting, and there are the numbers against lefties, that you're one swing away from tying it up.
He's driven in 3 runs in this series.
Controlled aggression. That's the way he's been swinging the bat.
And he's been on base 7 times, 4 hits and 3 walks. And Lannon front doors him with a breaking ball to make the count 1-2.
I think he's like any young hitter. I mean, you have to. The key is to get ahead and then try to get him out by making him expand. You can't do that when you're behind him.
Then he tries to bust him under his hands.
Wow.
Well, we need the. It was like the perfect 1-2 pitch, and he took it.
Yep.
Tried to bring
another one. Yeah.
3-2.
You know, I asked Wade Boggs, how do you, and I'm sure every hitter has a little different device to know. And I said, how do you know if the ball's inside? He said, where I hold my hands. If the ball's inside that, I know it's off the plate. So they have a guideline.
Aubrey Huff on the move. Reimold right field. Shallow for Elijah Dukes. Lannon pulling the string on a 3-2 pitch. And he's through 6. So are the Nationals, leading the Orioles, trying to salvage one 3-1.
Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. In the 3rd inning, you're going to see Matt Wieters throw out Anderson Hernandez. The pitch is up. He has to slide out to the right-handed batter's box. And then in the 5th inning, the pitch is a little bit lower. Same result, though. Perfect throw to second base. Tag a little off by Ty Wigington in the 5th. There's your Coors Light Freeze Cam. But I think we've shown today that Matt Wieters is doing an exceptional job getting away from the left-handed hitter, getting out and throwing the ball to second base.
Top of the order for the Nationals, top of the 7th, Willie Harris. Been a pretty good leadoff man today. A double, a walk, a stolen base. Good defense in center field as usual. And a good fastball by Ray, who's come out and be looking very sharp. He struck out Nieves looking on 3, and he's been locating well. So 5 consecutive strikes here.
Yeah, when you pitch an inning in 2/3 and give up 5 runs and 7 hits and the grand slam home run, a little disappointing. But again, Dave Tremblay talked about it. I watched the game. I didn't do the games in Florida, but the velocity was 96. He just made one real bad pitch, but they brought him out for the second inning after, and that just was a little bit too much. And again, they were way behind in the ball game. But this was a guy that 3 or 4 years ago was about as good as any young right-handed pitcher in baseball. Had the Tommy John surgery, and it's taken him a while to find his release point. Went back to AAA to find it, and it was very good down there.
Willie Harris jacks one to right field over the scoreboard, and Washington homers for the second time today. And for Willie Harris, his 3rd home run in the last 2 weeks. His 4th of the year makes it 4-1 Washington.
That's like real estate. Location, location, location. 96 gets out of here in a hurry when it's in the middle of the plate, especially inside middle.
And Jim, you talked about movement. His first few strikes were moving fastballs down and away. This is a fastball that just stays up in the zone. Willie Harris, not known to be a home run hitter, but to a lefty, and you talked about this with Aubrey Huff, sometimes you change your eyesight and you say, hey, that's a straight heater, and he crushed it.
Willie Harris has 24 career home runs. He's hit 17 of them since the start of 08.
You know, it seems, Bob, that the one big difference that I see in the modern day baseball player, I mean, yeah, maybe the ballparks are a little bit more intimate, and you know, we've gone through different things where guys are stronger and the balls change from from horsehide to cowhide. Mark Hendrickson getting loose for the Orioles. But the one thing I think most hitters, even the spray hitters, the slashers, they hit the ball inside fair with more authority than they did when I pitched. I mean, not that some guys couldn't do that back then, but I think with all the drills, whether it's the Crowleys or the Ecksteins or whatever, the teaching is so much better. I mean, you still have to go up there and hit it and look for pitches and, you know, hit within yourself and whatever, but they cover the ball in and keep it fair, and that's what Willie Harris did on that swing, and it's probably just the same as his single swing.
It is.
Yeah, and that's the big difference that I've seen.
1-2 to Guzman. And he strikes out as Ray got the ball down and in on him.
And I was never a big proponent of the video and stuff like that, except if you had a weakness or a flaw. And I think with the technology, with the Exmo camera, the freeze cams, and all these different things, you can show some more flaws to guys so that then they can go out and actually work a little bit harder, and we might have a pitching change.
Yeah, I think, again, a lot of pitches Thursday, and you can match up here with Hendrickson. I mean, not that Mark's one of those left-handed specialists, lefties hitting 290, but again, I think Dave Tremblay wants to save Ray for the Red Sox.
Nationals with their second homer of the day by Willie Harris, Johnson, and Hendrickson in a moment. By the way, a big cheer here in the FIFA Confederations Cup. The USA leads Brazil 2-0 or 2-0.
2-0. That's right. What, they lost a cup about 10 days ago, 3-0.
And they beat Spain this week, so a big week for USA soccer.
They said we know them better the second time for the championship.
And here's a guy who played for a coach who coached USA basketball. Mark Hendrickson played for Kelvin Sampson up at Washington State. Kelvin once told me that Mark Hendrickson was the best rebounder in the Pac-10 at that time.
Well, the Orioles they don't want him to rebound. They just want him to get a lefty out. Yeah. And other than George Sherrill, he's the only lefty in the bullpen. I mean, it started out, you know, you had Jamie Walker, who was not on the top of his game. The Nationals found that out. Dunn hit that grand slam off him. And so, again, this pretty important cog other than your closer, because, again, not a real true matchup guy. Makes a good pitch there.
Nick Johnson 0 for 7 in this series. And it'll be Ryan Zimmerman with 2 outs, bases empty, hitting ahead of Adam Dunn. John Lannon, by the way, in a position to pitch pretty deep into this ball game through 6. He's at 84 pitches, 51 strikes.
Especially if they keep adding runs for him. Those tack-on runs, boy, do they make a difference.
Manny Ecta hasn't been able to hand the ball from a starter to a closer more than a time or two this year. Lannon's 2 starts ago went 8 1/3 at Yankee Stadium.
Well, what was that stat yesterday that the Nationals in this month had scored 4 or less runs, 18 times? And
yeah,
23 games
now. Yeah.
So it's 19 out of 23 games. Yeah. So they're right at their limit. No, I don't mean that.
I know you're not.
Yeah, you know, I'm just saying. So any run is
disparaging way. You're just being honest.
Well, I'm just looking at the numbers here.
Yep.
And of course, in April, the first half of May, they scored 7 or 8 a night and kept losing.
When we saw them, they were about 4. When the Orioles came in, they were like 4th in the National League in runs scored.
And Jim, 2 weeks before that, they were in the top 2 and the top 3 in batting average and runs.
And that's when the bullpen was imploding, and of course they've changed that a couple of times.
Glad I didn't give this stat earlier. Lannon, hitters are hitting 325 off of John Lannon this year with 2 outs. So he's working on that. We've talked about his work against left-handed hitters. There you see a strikeout by Hendrickson.
Hendrickson comes in, gets 2 quick outs. 7th inning stretch time at Oriole Park, and it's Washington on top by 3.
Today, if he comes out of the bullpen and pitches, it will be as if it's a side session. He is scheduled to pitch Tuesday in Florida. Now, with the struggles that Chiron Martis has had lately, it makes sense for Stanman to stay in the rotation. A move will be made after the game, and we will have all the details for you on Nats Extra. In other news, the Nats swapped minor leaguers with the Seattle Mariners. They sent Ryan Langerhans to Seattle for infielder Mike Morse. Bob?
All right, Debbie, thank you. Ryan Langerhans had some success at the major league level with Atlanta and with Washington, and now he's a Seattle Mariner. And right now, the #1 national they're thinking about is John Lannon. 6 innings, 1 run on 4 hits. He's given up 3 walks, and the Orioles only made him pay for 1 of those as he walked the leadoff man in the 1st, 2nd, and the 4th. He'll face Luke Scott, Oscar Salazar, and Matt Wieters here in the Orioles 7th.
Hey, don't you think he's pretty much pitching the way he's pitched all June?
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even going back farther, when he started to really step up as the ace of the staff, There was a couple of games where he was getting 3 and 4 double plays in a game, and sometimes he'd stay out there and he gave up his first win of the season. He gave up 6 runs early. Stayed out there for 6-7 innings and we ended up coming back when the offense was clicking, and he got his first win. And I truly feel a lot of people talk about these quality start, this quality. Listen, your job as a starter is to try to win the ball game for your team. Forget about your stats or anything. You go as long and as hard as you can, and hopefully the team wins.
Yeah, you beat the guy that you're pitching against. That's what I told Jeremy Guthrie.
That's right.
I said, you know, if you're a perfectionist, you didn't like your appearance last night, but after watching the last couple of years where you pitched well against the Nationals, take the win.
Luke Scott, first pitch, high drive, right center. Elijah Dukes calling Willie Harris. I don't know what happened there. Harris peeled off, and then I'm not sure Dukes saw the ball. That was interesting. That's a ball that normally a center fielder should take care of and tell everybody to get out of Dodge.
Yeah, but Willie Harris knows the free safety should give way to a linebacker. Yeah. So he lets Elijah Dukes have that ball.
It's like a freight train coming. Well, he took one look at him right there.
Yeah, you take it.
Now, you're down at a dome. Whether you're in Minnesota, Tampa Bay, you never pick the ball up if you take your eye off it. But he took one look at Willie and said, I think I better catch it.
And
he did.
Kind of a light glare on a cloudy sky all day today. Here's Salazar. So the key for Washington there, John Lennon got 1 out on 1 pitch to start his 7th inning of work. He has a chance to go into the 8th under 100 pitches. Salazar takes a strike, and it's 2-1.
I think it all really started for John Lennon and the Nationals when he took the mound and the sun came out for the only time today. Brief as it was.
Hernandez down to scoop that one. 2 outs.
I keep telling the guys down in the locker room that. Did the sun come out today? Are you healthy? Yeah. Well, then it's a good day.
Are they still paying you?
They're still paying you.
Yeah. But Rob's point is well taken. When you're 21-51 and it's Saturday night and you've just had a lead and given it away, you wonder if it'll come up on Sunday.
Well, you're right, and you know the Orioles are not a great Sunday. I mean, they're 3-8 in Sundays. They're 6-18 in series finales. They certainly need to tune that up. But on the other hand, you know, the one thing about Manny Acton, his guys, you know, if they're a little bit limited, they still play hard. That's what you have to get them to do. And who better? If you're not going to win when John Lannon's out there, who are you going to win with? Because you know you can pretty much count on this guy.
Scott Olsen tomorrow in Florida, then Jordan Zimmerman. And the way Zimmerman's been pitching, the Nats probably feel like if they can sneak one today here, they've got a chance to go down and do some damage against the Marlins. You just never know what a guy's going to do coming off rehab.
Oh, sweet.
They know what Lannon's doing. He's had 92 pitches through 7 innings. Gentlemen, enjoy the rest of your day. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.
Summary, an early lead for the Orioles, and the Salazar with a single into left. Lennon would get out of trouble. And then Adam Dunn, majestic 442-foot home run, 2-1. Right here, Anderson Hernandez single to center. Wieters drops the throw, 3-1. And then the 4th national runs on Willie Harris's 3rd home run in the last couple of weeks. A shot over the right center field fence. So again, David Hernandez pitched pretty well today. The Orioles get the early lead, but the Nationals will come back, and I don't know if it's a commanding 4-1 lead, but they're ahead by 3.
And here is Adam Dunn, who hit that 2-run home run, almost hit the warehouse. A 1-hopper to the warehouse for his 19th.
Brick damage.
There's a pitch for a strike. And so
has anybody ever hit the warehouse on the fly?
Only in the home run derby before the All-Star game. Ken Griffey Jr. is the only one.
That was what, 1993?
If you have time to walk on Utah Street, there are plaques on Utah Street for every home run that has landed on Utah Street. There's a bouncer into the shift, and Wiggins in the first to retire Dunn, 1 away in the Washington 8th inning. Fans, don't forget the Orioles' wives are hosting a silent auction tomorrow and Tuesday with the Red Sox in town. The auction will take place at Gate D. All begins at 5:30, continues through the end of the 7th. The proceeds from tomorrow's auction benefits the University of Maryland Hospital for Children, and proceeds from Tuesday will honor Maryland native and former Angels pitcher Nick Adenhart and benefit the Nick Adenhart Memorial Fund. 888-848-BIRD or OriolesReach.com for more details. 1 away on the Dunn ground out. Josh Willingham batting now.
It's a pretty nice series right there. Not a lot of RBIs, but 5 for 10.
Just off the plate, 2-0. Hendrickson came on with 1 out and none on in the 7th, and after he struck out Zimmerman, he turned around expecting to get the baseball back from the third baseman.
It happens. I was telling Jim, you're warming up down the bullpen as a reliever, and Chris Ray struck out Christian Guzman. He may not have seen that because he was busy doing something. It's called getting loose. And so he missed that out. I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just saying that could be the reason. So he comes in. He gets Nick Johnson to fly out to left field. He gets the strikeout to Zimmerman. He wanted a little bit more of us.
1 out at a time.
1 out at a time, Jim. So he had 2 outs. He got 2 outs.
Plus he's on a roll.
Hit deep and foul down the left side.
If you're on a roll, you come in, you get the first 2 guys out. Hey, you don't want to walk off the field. You want to get the 3rd guy out.
Oh, this fraternity that we're with.
It's not. Hey, I was having out-of-body experiences out there. I was out of control. So you going to ask me what the count was? I was telling guys to get off the mound.
I can't imagine that.
2-2 is ripped to left field. Nolan Rymel will have to chase it down. That one heads to the corner. Willingham stays hot. His 3rd hit. He's on at 2nd. With 1 down here in the 8th inning. So 3 hits for Josh Willingham. Time now for you to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Adam Dunn, 2-run home run. John Lannon has held the Orioles to 1 run through 7 innings, or Oscar Salazar, who has the Orioles RBI. Text in your vote now. Have your voice heard. A, B, or C to 51862. John Lannon on the bench.
Well, you don't know how happy that makes me feel when I see a couple of national names up on that list and not 3 Oriole guys.
Here's Elijah Dukes. It's all one big family here.
Yeah. And if we do win today, it'll be 12-12 in the series, in the Beltway series. So a lot riding on this game.
Well, they've won. Then if you really want to go, they would have won 9 out of the last 16 too. Make yourself feel better if you're a national fan or a national broadcaster.
The Orioles, this is the final game in the interleague, so the completion of the 6th interleague series. And the Orioles this year won 5 of the 6 interleague series. The only one they didn't was the 3-game sweep by the Marlins in Florida.
So take that, Mr. Dibble.
Ouch. That's going to be a long flight down to
I know.
Marlinville.
No, it won't. It'll be about 2 hours. No, in Southwest, it's 2 hours and 10 minutes. Every time.
Really?
Always scheduled 2:25. They can leave.
They get in 2:10.
They never leave late, but you might have some airport traffic. Happiest flight attendants in the history of flight attendants.
Right.
Must be paid well. They can sing.
2-1 on Dukes, 1 on, 1 out.
And then, of course, if you do it often enough, I saw a flight attendant the other day who, she said, do you ever see Bobby Grich? I said, I may see him out in Anaheim next week. She said, well, tell him I got his autograph when I was 12. He probably won't remember. And I Googled him. She said, I Googled just to see what he was doing.
Runner goes. Wieters throws high and into left field. And that's going to bring in another run for the Nationals. The throw sailed over the glove of Salazar. So a stolen base and a throwing error, and the Nationals get another big insurance run here in the 8th inning.
Well, Rob, you made the point that the 2 attempted steals earlier with a left-handed batter. You got to throw over a pretty big guy.
Well, this just happened to us, I think, up in New York with Josh Bard sailed one into left field. You have to get away from the right-handed hitter. It's very difficult as a catcher lead. He's got to step behind Dukes, and he kind of sidewinds it up there. You got to get on top. Mechanics from the throwing perspective the same as a pitcher.
Dukes to deep right center field, but Adam Jones runs it down, and 2 away here in the 8th inning. Now, we decided to look back over the history books. For Jim, we had to get the dust off, but we were curious if anyone overlapped your career, Jim, and your career, Rob. Which hitters did you both strike out? And here's the list.
Yeah, well, it's some pretty significant guys. I mean, I didn't.
Well, we should have struck out
senior.
Ernie Witt and Slot.
Well, you know, Harold Baines at the top of the list, alphabetically, of course. He hit his first major league home run off.
Rick Dempsey's in there, though.
Yeah.
Well, definitely should have struck that guy.
There's a base hit. Dempsey told me he owned you. When he absolutely told me he owned you.
Oh. No,
well, maybe I'm exaggerating.
Now, Gibson did own me. He hit a game-winning home run off me in Detroit, my only year in the American League.
Ken Griffey Sr., not Junior.
Yep. Well, that's dating us.
Howard Johnson, Ojo,
a couple of weeks
batting
ago.
Instructor with the Mets.
Willie Randolph,
Mike Laga. I think Mike had about 300 minor league home runs.
See, I don't even remember Mike Laga.
You were so focused.
You struck out so many guys you forgot.
No, I don't mean strikeout. I don't mean strikeouts. I'm just talking about.
How many guys you face? Do you face over 20,000 hitters?
Oh, I don't know. Let's not get depressed. My arm will start hurting.
Well, 4,000 innings, so times 3.
Well, yeah.
And then,
all the walks.
1 or 2 base hits.
A couple of walks.
A lot of walks.
A couple of grand slams.
No.
But you do remember the guys that had your number. Who hit the most home runs off you?
Rice hit 9. 8 solos and 1 3-run home run on a hanging slider.
You got to feel pretty good. He's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yes, exactly. Nettles, who is a terrific hitter. I think he might have hit 9. The guy, in fact, 2 guys getting in the Hall of Fame. Ricky Henderson, I think, hit over 400 against me. What an annoying guy. And then he would steal second and third.
Oh, that's even more annoying.
Yeah, really annoying.
1 and 2 with 2 men down. With Hernandez on at first and Nieves up.
I wanted to do to Ricky Henderson what President Obama did to that fly. I just never could catch him.
Nieves.
Yeah, Jim, we're looking at the scoreboard, and aren't we seeing what the Orioles try to do when they get an early lead?
Yep.
Tack on those runs.
Absolutely. Orioles have only 4 hits in this game. Breaking ball, high fly ball to left, playable for Reimold. Nolan waits for it, has it for the out. Inning ends, but Nats get a run. Couple of hits, 1 left, middle of the 8th. The Nationals with a 5-1 lead.
Drive of the game, and boy, was it ever driven. 442 feet. Zimmerman with a double. The Nationals trailing by 1. Not anymore when that ball bounded off the warehouse to make it 2-1 Nationals. And that is your Washington Ford dealers drive of the game. A lot of very greenness to that home run.
Yeah, but our Masson satellite said it was 501 feet. So
really?
I don't know who I should believe.
The Masson satellite.
I didn't know we had one.
Oh, we have Masson blimps and helicopters. We have a spy satellite. Well, we're in Washington now.
Oh, yes.
And Dino fouls it back. He's quickly down on the count 0-2.
Well, a lot easier pitching. I don't think you change your style, especially when you've gone through 7 innings, only giving up 4 hits. But a 4-run lead. Ball's coming out of the hand, nice and easy. Don't change anything. Still the pitch count well under control.
But he's our leader of the staff. You know,
there's a base hit.
However, you can be a leader with about
heading towards the gap.
starts.
And Dino rounds first, heading for second, and he is in with a leadoff double. So he was able to split the defense, and Robert Andino has his first hit. Fans have something to cheer about here in Baltimore, and a leadoff runner in scoring position.
Well, he's got about 95 pitches. He's been averaging about between 95 and 105 pitches per start. Nice to see him getting into the 8th inning now.
Well, he tuned up by anytime you pitch against the Yankees and the Red Sox in back-to-back series. And we talked about the Mets. How about the Mets? They Friday and Saturday 4 hits against the Yankees.
Wow.
A lot of injuries.
Here's today's leaderboard presented by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. American League team batting average, runners in scoring position, and the Orioles continue to lead in the American League. As Adam Jones fouls it off down the line.
Well, you do have action in the Nationals bullpen, just in case. Joe Beimel, maybe, we saw last night.
Well, Joe, when he dominated the New York Yankees, though, guys, it was in front of his family in New York, sold-out crowd at Yankee Stadium, and he handled that perfectly. 8 1/3 great innings, maybe his best start of the year. So he's just growing up as a major league pitcher almost every start now. I mean, he's just got over 50 starts. And then we go way down to our next guy at 22 years old, has 15.
1-2 on Jones.
Very young staff.
And it's fouled straight down at the plate.
And there is no reason with the stuff that John Lannon has in his command, and that's probably even more important, that he should not be able to pitch late in the ballgame. Because getting a guy out the 3rd and 4th time is just about really making good pitches. So again, here's a guy that's commanded all his pitches today. In and out, got the curveball over, great changeup. White has the lead.
Jones bounces it to third. Zimmerman goes up and gets it. I'm not sure he had to do that, but nonetheless he did, and he gets Jones and one man down. He was overcompensating for a Baltimore shot.
Another hard hit ball right out in front of the plate. Jumps up. Zimmerman grabs it. Doesn't have a lot of time to pump in the glove and throws a perfect strike to Nick. And one of the habits that Ryan's going to have to work on is when he pumps the glove, he throws a lot of wide throws.
Do you think he drops his arm for some reason?
Maybe,
yeah.
You know, open up that front shoulder. And we were talking about mechanics, whether it's a catcher, an infielder, outfielder. When you dip that front shoulder, the arm's going to drag, and you're going to throw balls that kind of tail. You don't want to do that when you're throwing to the first baseman.
There's 9 errors on the year at third base. Nationals have 68 errors. They're last in the league in team fielding. Wigginton goes the other way. There's a base hit. And Dino will be held by Juan Samuel. Can't risk it, down by 4 in the 8th inning. So runners on the corners with 1 down.
Yeah, you have a Markakis. We have a Dukes. Elijah has 8 outfield assists this year, and he's got a gun. Here you see this pitch on the outer half, and Wigginton doing a great job, guys, at going with it.
Yeah, finally. You know, he's kind of around everything. Well, I don't mean that negatively. I'm just saying finally been able to kind of inside it out. And Andino ran the bases exactly the way you want to, assuming that your third base coach is going to send him. And then, of course, because it's 5-1. So Maniac to pitch count will get John Lannon. Terrific job this afternoon.
So John Lannon will leave. Here comes Joe Beimel. The Orioles have 2 on, 1 down, trailing by 4 in the 8th. Day to be in the harbor downtown in Baltimore as the Orioles and Nationals close out this interleague series. Good day for John Lannon. Goes 7 1/3. 6 base hits so far, 1 earned run, 2 men on base, his responsibility. He walked 3, only 1 of those walks hurt, and a couple of strikeouts. And he gives way to Joe Beimel, who has been pitching very well now over the last couple of weeks.
About matching up. Markakis 0 for 2. Huff on deck 2 for 2 with a home run. That home run last night. But that's what Joe Beimel does. He gets really both guys out. But what, a lefty's hitting 239.
Yeah, fastball curveball change, throws across his body. Has pretty good command. He's only given up 2 earned runs in his last 14 innings pitched. Really, earlier in the season, he was so dominant, guys, and then he went to field the ball. It was raining, and he hurt his hip, and he went on the disabled list, and he had a hip flexor injury to that back hip. And ever since he came back, he has not had the huge overhand curveball that he had earlier in the season.
And that's really your push-off leg.
Yep.
Markakis now, curveball, high fly ball to center field. Andino will tag as Willie Harris has a play. It goes all the way back almost to the warning track. Wigginton also tags, and he moves up to second base. So that's a sac fly and an RBI. O's get a run, but Beimel gets an out, 2 down.
Yeah, it looked like it was pretty routine off the bat. Going to be a sacrifice fly, but Ty Wigginton, again, I think he really understands how to play this game. Willie Harris, he's going to kind of saunter back after it, and Ty tags up. So now double play not in order. You got yourself, well, there's 2 outs anyway, but you got yourself a chance to score another run with a base hit. And the Nationals still have to get what, 4 outs and maintain this lead.
It has not been that easy this year.
And Aubrey Huff will bat.
And there are a lot of players that wouldn't have paid attention early on when that routine fly ball just kept going. So they don't tag up, they go halfway, and you're not in scoring position.
Huff takes a strike at the knees.
Well, like we said about Willie Harris out in center field, he's like a Ty Wigginton. You know, when they do play, they play hard, and they're very fundamentally sound. And Wigginton, the only way he's going to keep himself getting back in the lineup a couple times a week, 3-4 times a week, is to do the right things.
0-1 to Huff, breaking ball outside. Nieves bluffs a throw to second base. In the first 2 games in this series, the Orioles outscored the Nationals 17-4. But today it's the Nats with those add-on runs, and now a 5-2 lead as the Orioles in this game only 6 base hits yielded by John Lannon.
Well, you know, a lot of times you don't get a lot of opportunities against a guy that's been on a roll. That's with John Lannon in that second inning. Run in, first and third, nobody out. He made a great pitch. Wieters hits into the double play because Scott comes home. And then he gets Andino out, and until this inning, he was just kind of doing what he's been doing all month.
And there, Joe shaved the beard, by the way, after that home run to Huff. He is now clean shaven. Relievers were,
you know, I walked right by him today.
Yeah.
I walked by him, didn't even recognize him.
He might just done that in the 7th inning. But, you know, great get me over curveball right there.
Wigginton at second with 2 down. 1 and 2 on Huff. Huff line drive. There's a base hit right center field. Wigginton rounds third and will score easily. Huff's looking for 2. Here's the throw. He is out at second base.
You could see that coming. Did not pay attention to the scouting report. No.
Assist number 9 on the season for Elijah Dukes.
So the Orioles get 2, but Huff gunned down at second base. We'll head to the 9th. It is a 2-run game. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by Honda. You can depend on your Honda dealer for great leases and low financing. Well, it's a 5-3 game. Important out at second base recorded by the Nats. The tying run, Nolan Reimold would have come to the plate, except Aubrey Huff gunned down at second. Here's Danny Baez, guys, on to pitch the ninth.
Yeah, pitched on Friday an inning and gave up a hit. So, again, he's been pretty good. He did get hurt on the last road trip with a couple of home runs. Ryan Howard, who hits him off of everybody, and then Hanley Ramirez, who does the same thing. Grand slam, but when you consider how far he's come from that Tommy John surgery, he's had a very good year. Ran into him last night down in Little Italy at the Mimos. He said, I hope I'm here the rest of the year. But I'm sure there's other teams that are looking, hey, this could be a guy that could be a pretty good and important addition to the back end of some bullpen.
Well, you guys talked about the 6th, 7th, 8th inning where your bullpen was in the game. After Hernandez came out, you had a lot of pitches early on and got him out of the ball game. That's where really the Nationals took this 5-3 lead. It really should be a 3-3 ball game at this point.
0-2 on Willie Harris. Fouls it back to stay alive. Guzman and Johnson to follow. The Orioles in the bottom of the ninth. Reimold, Scott, and Salazar due up.
I mean, it's very important for the bullpen to try to keep scores the way they found it when they came in the ball game. And if you start giving up, like you said, tack on runs, very difficult to keep chasing the lead.
And a splitter that hangs up, and that's really been the problem for Danny. It's been so good, two-seamer. He has to pitch down to the strike zone. But you go back to this ball game, the drop throw at home plate that allows the Nationals to get a run. The throw into left field by Wieters, that's another run, and those are the differences. And then the base running by Aubrey Huff. And when you play against a team that has a good pitcher on the mound, you can't make a lot of mistakes.
Willie Harris has his 3rd hit in this game. He's also drawn a walk.
We should have never traded him.
Bouncer to first. Aubrey Huff steps in the back, throw to second, the tag, and out at second base. Nicely turned and a good, nice tag by Andino. So the reverse, 3 unassisted, 3-6 double play and 2 down.
It really doesn't get a whole lot better than that. We have seen in this series now that the infield, you could see Kristen Guzman saying, boy, early on the high chopper got over. Actually got over Nick Johnson's head on Friday, and that was part of that 8-run 6th inning. But Huff, well, not that much taller, but the ball just didn't bounce as high, and then he turns a nice double play. And you don't see that play too often from a right-handed fielding first baseman. I mean, you could just see him. He just very agilely touched the bag and then made the perfect throw. That's the only way you are able to get Willie Harris.
Here's Nick Johnson, who is 0 for 4, batting in the number 3 spot today. Takes ball 1. 4 fly ball outs off the bat of Johnson.
Yeah, there's the good splitter.
Well, he should shelve one of the pitches, whether it's the curveball or the splitter. And when you're throwing 3 pitches for a short reliever, there's no purpose in that. You need that as a starter, but you don't need 3 pitches as a reliever. So try to master 2, throw them for strikes, maybe change speeds with the splitter, and that'll be like that off-speed curveball he threw in there for strike 1.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how he's pitched all year long. And the story, of course, after Tommy John, they actually tried to audition him as a starting pitcher, which didn't work very well. And he went to the bullpen in about the middle of spring training. And a lot of guys would have probably resisted that, but he made the ball club, and he's been one of their more consistent. There's obviously glitches when you're going to pitch as many times as relievers, but he's been awfully good.
Yeah, maybe what it did is it stretched his arm out early enough in camp that he was really ready for opening day. Here's the 2-2 pitch. It's bounced towards first. Huff gets the hop. They'll go to the bag unassisted, and the inning ends. So here we go. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Birds down by 2. Reimold, Scott, and Salazar due up. Rising leader, 46%. John Lannon, 35%. And Adam Dunn, all he did was almost hit the warehouse. Voters not impressed, 19%. Still time for you to text in your vote. A, B, or C to 51862. And Tom and Rick will have the results on O's Extra. And back here at Oriole Park as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Orioles need 2 to tie. And the closer for the Nats has come on. Mike McDougal trying to close it out and get John Lannon a win.
There are those numbers, Rob.
Well, Mike has done a great job since coming back up, guys. He got released by the Chicago White Sox, went to our AAA affiliate for a little bit, came up, pitching in middle relief, setup role, and now he's assumed the closer's role. Got his first save since Kansas City the other night. It's 2 for 2 so far in save opportunities. Throws mid-90s.
Yeah, what, a 98 last night? Yeah.
He's gonna bring the heat.
Yeah, lefties hit in 370. He dominated righties. They're right around 200, a little bit over 200. And Reimold's right-handed, along with Scott coming up.
Great kid. I mean, they've had to turn over the bullpen earlier in the season. A lot of youngsters, guys that were afraid to throw strikes. We got a lot of veterans now. They do get hurt from time to time because they throw maybe a few too many strikes. But you know what? They've done a much better job since they turned over the bullpen. This is part of this transition.
So what are they, 19-4 when winning or having a lead after 8 innings? 0-40 when they're trailing after 8. It gives you an idea of how hard it is to come back and win games. Maniacta. And it goes back to that 8th inning when Aubrey Huff tests the arm of Elijah Dukes, when this guy would have come up with a chance to tie it. So a huge play in this ball game.
Reimold looks over a strike, 0-1.
And this is what you like right here, power versus power.
Nolan has walked and scored. He is 0 for 2. Down and away, 1-1 the count. The Orioles have not homered in this game after hitting 3 last night. Reimold one of those 3, and it was a 3-run shot.
Yeah, he had a changeup, and of course, a little different here. McDougal comes in throwing on the upper 90s. Our gun maybe a little fast, but still 96 to 98.
Outside, ball 2. Reimold, good man to be leading off here in the 9th inning, because when you need to get the tying run to the plate and the tying run is still on deck, he's a very patient hitter. And he knows right now a walk is as good as anything.
Yeah, it certainly is. Just need to get on some way.
Tapper foul, 2-2.
Of course, McDougal knows exactly that. Now, if Maniacta and Earl Weaver was his manager instead of Manny, he would have said, hey, can't get beat till you get somebody on. And of course, or they can't tie it up till you get somebody on.
Psychology.
Real negative, positive things.
Exactly.
2-2 is low, ball 3, and there's that batting eye. Just
well, you know, I know he's an Oriole, and I know we're doing both games. But Rob, have you seen a lot of young? I mean, he just identifies that breaking ball, and that's a pretty good breaking ball.
He does a fantastic job,
especially with 2 strikes.
He does a fantastic job. You talk about batter's eyes like an Adam Dunn or Nick Johnson. This kid's as good as any of them.
Fouls off a very good pitch to stay alive.
You know, and I guess on Friday down at the cage, I was talking to Nolan. I said, well, were you always like that way? And, you know, Terry Crowley, hitting instructor, said, well, most guys will learn how to hit for power once they get to the big leagues. He's already figured that out. But he said it's all about the load. And watch him get back on his right foot and that little toe tap. So that's the smoothness of a swing you don't find too much with 25-year-old right-handed hitters.
And he got him. Swings through a fastball, so Reimold down on strikes.
Well, we talked about movement on your fastball, more important than velocity. That last one was a 96-mile-an-hour moving fastball, and hitters will let you know how you're throwing, and that ball just runs right away from Reimold and down. As you see him, he can't hit a 2-run homer with nobody on base.
That reminded me of a little bit of Sean Green from the Mets with a little more velocity.
Yeah.
Ball diving off the table.
Luke Scott now. High pop foul, that'll be in the crowd.
And it's kind of interesting the way they tried to go after Nolan Ryman. They are a pretty good fastball hitter. We'll try to get our breaking ball over early, but at the end of the day, what did he come back to?
Fastball.
Yeah, it's best pitch.
Absolutely. Get beat with your best pitch, especially with nobody on base. If he hits a home run, you're still up a run. And that's the kind of stuff we've been talking about, while we've been working together, guys, is that, listen, just think about it before you walk up to the plate. What are you looking to do? You need to get on. Somebody needs to hit a home run to tie the score. Well, if you're pitching, you got to think the same way backward. Well, they can't beat me with a one-run home run right here, so I got to challenge them.
Fly ball to left. Willingham in on it as it hung up, and 2 down. Orioles down to their final out. Nats are 1 away from salvaging the finale in this series.
And that is why your bullpen coaches with a young pitching staff, or even a veteran pitching staff, is constantly saying, hey, be prepared, watch the game, pay attention. Because again, when you come in, it's usually in clutch situations, especially when you're trying to win ball games. The late Helrod Hendricks was, he not only was a terrific receiver when I was pitching, but he would, he was here for 38 years, 39 years. He would just make the guys pay attention and focus.
And the key too is what is your bread and butter? Whether it's a changeup, curveball, fastball, but what is your bread and butter? And if you're going to go down and get beat with your best pitch, not second or third, or I don't want to throw this pitch, and you got second thoughts. That was a nice slider.
Yeah, pretty nasty. I think that's just a cut fastball.
Yeah, well, that's a fastball that he didn't try to cut, but he threw it so well it just did.
Well, a lot of the advanced scouts were saying that his spine angle, head angle, maybe changes his release point, and that one certainly worked. The ball just darting away from Salazar.
0-2 on Salazar, outside 1-2. And while we have a moment, I want to thank you for all of your insights here. Jim and I have enjoyed it, working with you and Bob Carpenter as the massive families come together.
Speaking for Bob Carpenter, I've totally and thoroughly enjoyed it. It has been refreshing and a lot of fun.
It's always good to have our cousins from D.C. visit.
Yeah, no, it is.
You're an honorary member of the Palmer Hunter family.
Thank you.
The 1-2 pitch is outside, 2-2.
Well, Bob and Rob, thank you.
That is Bob and Rob.
That is Bob and Rob.
2-2 to count, 2 men down.
Whatever.
Salazar 1 out of 3 with a ribby.
It's really Robert and Robert.
There it is Robert and Robert. And Jim and Jim.
James and James.
James and James.
James Alvin. James Dennis. And a slow ground ball to short. And a toss to first, and that ends it. And the Nationals salvage the finale in this 3-game series. 3 up, 3 down. Nationals win it 5-3.